afternoon, fans. And it's really a pleasure to have Al Rosen, the capable third baseman of the Cleveland Indians, on our Gillette program this afternoon. Al, they tell me you're not going to play this afternoon.
That's right, Frankie. Due to this thigh injury of mine, my right leg has been acting up quite bad. You remember seeing me run.
Right.
And we feel that possibly I'd be of more value to the team in a pinch hitter's role or even playing in the later innings of a ball game if necessary. And certainly I can't help the ball club by trying to go all the way.
Well, I know you would help it if you were in there. Now, look, Al, what's happened in these last two games from a player's viewpoint?
Well, strictly from a player's viewpoint, we feel that one base hit in either ball game or even a fly ball in either ball game, the game might have gone the other way. We ran into magnificent pitching, terrific defensive ball club. Even though I must say, for our own pitchers, I think our pitchers were as good as anything we saw from the Giants. We just didn't get the runs that the Giants did. They capitalized more on opportunities than we did.
That's right. Wynn pitched a terrific game yesterday. But how about that little Antonelli?
Johnny's come a long way since I saw him this spring, and he certainly deserves the reputation that we've received, that we've heard about him. Johnny certainly is one of the finer left-handers in the game. He's certainly as good as anything we've seen in our league.
Did you hit against him in the All-Star game?
Yes, I did.
How'd you do?
Well, I think John had a bad day, and by the grace of...
Now, wait a minute. Did you hit it? Who hit the home runs? You hit 2 home runs in the All-Star game.
Yes, I did, Frank. I did.
Now, what happened yesterday with the man on second base?
Well, I think Johnny was just a better pitcher yesterday. Maybe I was a worse hitter. I don't know. But Johnny fooled me yesterday. I certainly wasn't looking for a fastball with a man on the tying run on second base.
Al, didn't he throw you 2 fastballs?
Yes, he did. He got one up around my letters, which I think is my long ball, the fastball up. And then he got another one right down around my knees, and I should have been swinging, Frank.
Hey, Al, you know, we've been hearing so much about playing in a certain ballpark. Do you think a ballpark makes any difference?
No, I really don't. I think that sometimes the ballpark looks funny to you when you first walk in it, but most fellas that have been around the big leagues for a few years have managed to see most of the ballparks. Now, our club has seen the Polo Grounds. We've played numerous exhibition games there at the end of our spring training season. So, actually, there's no advantage, I don't believe, to any pitcher working in a certain ballpark or any hitter having to hit against a certain wall in a ballpark.
Well, it's certainly been a terrific series so far. I know for a fella, in my case, has been in as many World Series games. I've been getting a terrific thrill out of this thing. Say, Al, I got a little gift here for you, and it's a new Gillette one-piece razor set. And in the back here is the 1954 World Series record book. I know you'll enjoy that. And just stick around with me for a minute, will you?
Okay.
I want the fans to look for this Gillette display at your favorite store. You'll find this big little book filled with baseball tracks. And they got the diagrams of all the ballparks. All the Major League ballparks. Now, here's the Cleveland Stadium. See, 73,500. That's quite a stadium. The seating section and everything's right in there. And you got 112 pages of real dope on World Series history. And then we turn back here, Al, this is important. I think this is a great little thing in this book. Hints on winning baseball. And then you got batting. You know, it's good for little leaguers, good for semi-professional ball players, college ball players. In fact, I'm going to kick out of reading it. It's got base running, fielding, pitching, and the player rosters of all clubs. And I hope the fans will get this quick. Last year, a lot of fans waited a little too long, and thousands of fans missed out. So I hope they'll bear down this year and get them soon. Al Rosen, lots of luck to you.
Thank
you. I hope that leg comes along, because, fans, here's a great guy on the field and off the field. Thanks for being on our program, Al. Lots of luck to you. And our next guest will be a young fellow that did a courageous job yesterday. I admire this young guy. He walked out his first World Series game. Johnny Antonelli. How old are you now, John?
24, Frank.
24.
That's right.
Now, I want to ask you one question. I felt for you in that first inning yesterday with the 3 men on. What did Leo say when he walked out to the mound? Were you nervous?
No, I don't think I was nervous. I believe I was trying a little hard.
Well, I would have been. I'll tell you that.
But, I mean, he just tried to calm me down, I believe. He didn't actually say much about the game. He just came out there to talk to me, and that was it.
Say, in the last inning, you had a man on first and third. 1 out.
Right.
What were you firing to Vic Wirth?
Mostly fastballs at that time, Frankie.
That's when you did let me brag about you a little. I know you don't care about it too much. But for a young guy, 23, 24 years old, pitching his first World Series game, this kid in the ninth inning, the Giants leading 3-1, did a terrific job to count 3 and 2.
Right. I think he fouled off about 5 or 6 pitches.
5 or 6 pitches, and still you didn't walk him.
Right.
What about the double play ball? The ball that Regaldo, wasn't that the fellow Rudy Regaldo hit the ball with the shortstop dog?
Yes.
Were you ready to go to the clubhouse in that play?
Actually, I thought we had it, and I was jumping up and down if you had seen me, but I guess I was steps off on that one.
Say, John, where's your home?
Right now I'm living in Lexington, Massachusetts.
Oh, right outside of Boston?
That's right, about 12 miles.
You're married, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
And how about the little youngster?
I have a little daughter, 1-year-old.
And how about Papa and Mama? They here?
Yes, my father and mother are in here at Cleveland right
Boy,
now.
I bet they got a kick out of that baby yesterday, didn't they?
Oh, they certainly did.
Hey, John, you're a great kid. You know, I had on that baseball all summer long, 25 wins, and you owe me a couple of Coca-Colas. You know that, don't you? But look, here's a Gillette razor. And that little World Series record book, I know you'll like it. And I want you to take that new Gillette one-piece razor and the 1954 World Series record book. Fans, you can get your copy at your favorite store. And, John, I know you'll get a kick out of that.
Thank you very much, Frank.
Huh? Hey,
I can certainly use that.
there's a lot of good stuff in there. When are you going to pitch again?
Well, I don't know, Frank. If he needs me Sunday, I'll be ready to pitch. If not, probably Monday.
Fine, lots of luck to you.
Okay.
Well, fans, the clock says it's time to go until we take you back to Gillette's broadcasting booth.
And now, fans, this is yours truly, Jimmy Dudley, back here at Mutual's radio booth, and we're ready for today's third game of the 1954 World Series. This broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Commissioner of Baseball, solely for the entertainment of our audience. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express consent of the Commissioner is prohibited. Now just before turning you over to Al Helfer, here quickly are the lineups for today's game. For the Giants, at first base, leading off, Whitey Lockman. At shortstop, Alvin Dock. Don Mueller, right field. Willie Mays, center field. Hank Thompson, third base. Monty Irvin, left field. Davy Williams, second base. Wes Westrom, catching. And Ruben Gomez, the pitcher. He's won 17 and lost 9 during the regular season. For the Cleveland Indians, the home team, leading off, Al Smith, left field. Bobby Avila, second base. Larry Doby, center field. Vic Wirt, first base. Hank Majeski, third base. Dave Philly, right field. George Strickland, shortstop. Jim Hegan, catching, and Mike Garcia, the pitcher. Garcia, during the regular season, won 19 and lost 8. The umpires for the third game of the 1954 World Series, calling the balls and strikes back of the plate is Jocko Conlon. At first base, Stevens. Second base, Al Barrett. Third base, Charlie Berry. On the right field foul line is Ron Warneke. On the left field foul line is Larry Neff. Now the Indians have taken the playing field, and today's game is ready to get underway. And here is the man who will get today's game underway for us, Mutual's Al Helfer. Big Al, come in. Thank you very much, Jimmy Dudley. Hi, everybody. And we're very happy to say that Chris Speaker, the old Gray Eagle, is here in person. He's gotten over his illness, and he's throwing out the first ball here this afternoon. And Chris Speaker throws the first ball out to Jim Hagan, the starting catcher for the Cleveland Indians. And prior to getting started on this game here this afternoon, we have, right now, 10 seconds for sports station identification. This is Mutual, the radio network for all America.
This is WGN, your exclusive World Series station in Chicago.
And now to the business at hand here at the vast Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio, where this afternoon Al Lopez has sent in a patched-up lineup to meet the New York Giants, who have won 2 of the 2 games already played in the 1954 Classic. At third base, we have Hank Majeski, as Jimmy Dudley has already told you. Hank Majeski, one of the veterans of Major League play, taking over for Al Rosen. Al tried it. His leg was too bad, and he figured that he was in there hurting his ball club rather than helping it. So he and Al Lopez got together. And Al Rosen is on the bench this afternoon and will be utilized as a pinch hitter if needed. Hank Majeski is at third base. So let's set the Indians for you defensively now. As Big Mike Garcia, the Visalia right-hander, is on the mound for the Cleveland Indians. Old Val Chest is throwing down to his battery mate, Jim Hagan. At first base is Victor Wirtz. At second base, Bobby Avila. At shortstop, George Strickland. At third base, Hank Majeski. Out in left field is Al Smith. The center fielder is Larry Doby. And at right field here this afternoon is Dave Philly, the kid from Texas. And stepping up to the plate is the first hitter here for the New York Giants, batting at 1-1-1 in the series, 1 for 9, is Whitey Luckman. Whitey Luckman hitting left-handed, standing deep at the plate. Now, broadcasting spot here at Cleveland is a very fine one, right behind home plate, just slightly off on the left-hand side of home plate. Yoko Conlon, the plate umpire, looks down over the shoulder of Jim Hagan, and we're about to get started on the third game of the 1954 World Series. Please remember the Giants have won 2, and Cleveland has 1 run. So this is the game as far as Cleveland is concerned. Big Mike Garcia delivers the fastball. Whitey Luckman swings on this. Line drive hitting the right center field. It's going to be in there for the base hit. Over is Philly to cut it off. Luckman down to first base to hold on. So the first pitch here this afternoon is a line shot single in the right center field by Whitey Luckman. That is the first hit given up by Garcia, who surrendered only 220 base hits all year. Now coming up to the plate, batting at .375 is Alvin Dark. He has 3 for 8 in the series so far. Outfield placing just about straight away. This is a big ball orchard here. 320 feet down the left and right field line to 410 feet through the restraining fence in center. There's plenty of room to go get him here in this ballpark. Mike Garcia, the big right-hander from Visalia, kicks. Third around at the mound, looks down at Alvin Dark, who has that wide spread eagle stance leaning over. Whitey Luckman leads off first down, comes the pitch, fastball, fired in at the knees for a called strike. When Big Mike is right, that fastball of his comes zipping in there. Hank Majeski, expecting a bunt, is playing a shallow third. And Vic Wirtz, holding Whitey Luckman on at first base, will come charging in when the next pitch is made. They're expecting that the New York Giants will try to get that runner down in scoring position. Whitey Luckman is pretty fast, and he's liable to be moving any time. The pitch is made, and this time it's swung on. Alvin Dark hits a foul ball down off the first base line, back into the crowd, out of play. Hank Majeski, number 5, moving back there to take his station at third. It's been a long time since we've seen Hank Majeski start a ball game, but he's always on tap and ready. You know, I got an interesting note on Hank Majeski for you here in just a moment, and I'll pass it along to you. Mike Garcia checks his runner over at first base. That's Whitey Luckman taking a pretty good size lead. Vic Wirtz on the inside corner. We'll look at Alvin Dark now. The pitch to him is swung on. A pretty good hit-and-run man trying to punch to right field. Fouls it off again, and that's strike 2. Hank Majeski, the oldest player among all of today's World Series eligible, is playing at third base for Cleveland. He'll be 38 next December the 13th. Now, you'll find the ages, the heights, the weights, and the records of all the series players in the Gillette World Series book. Hope you have yours. Next pitch, the plate is swung on by Alvin Dark, and this calls strike 3. That's the first strikeout in the World Series, but he strikes out here for Big Mike Garcia. Mike Garcia had 130 strikeouts over the course of the regular season. Now here's Don Mueller, the pesky guy at the plate. Pesky from the standpoint that he can lay in that base hit for you when you need it the most. Don Mueller has 2 for 9 in the series, batting at .222. Has struck out only 1 time. Whitey Luckman, who opened with a line shot single into right center field, is still on the first base for the Giants. Mike Garcia has to bear down from the opening pitch. He's ready to go here to left-handed batting Don Mueller, the choke hitter. In comes the first pitch, nice fastball, over the knees for a called strike. Big Mike, when he throws, is a little off balance. That is, when he finishes up, he falls towards first base. When he started out in the spring this year, he tried to correct that and finish up in a squared-away position in order that he may field bunted balls and balls that were hit back to his right, the left of the pitcher's mound as we looked out from the diamond. But he found that he was not as effective with his pitches, so he went back to his old style. He delivers now. Fastball swung on, hit down off the rubber of home plate. A high bounce to Avila. The play goes to Strickland to run the throw back. There's not in time. Gets away from Vickers. Hegan is backing up. There goes Mueller trying to second. The throw goes down, and he's in there. The throw got away from Victor Woods. He had to reach for it. It was a hurried throw by George Strickland. And we'll probably have an error charged on the play. So we'll wait for the official scorers, Mr. McCauley, Mr. Jones, and Mr. Clemenco, to see what their decision is going to be on this one, to allow the runner to go from first down to second. It's going to be an error on George Strickland. So put Don Mueller on at second base on the error committed by George Strickland on his overthrow at first base, trying to get a double play. And incidentally, we have not had a double play in the World Series up till now. So Mueller was at first on the force out of Whitey Lockman at second base. And the play went from Avila to Strickland. So we have 2 outs, 1 on, and Willie Mays coming up. We'll get to get a base hit in the series. Garcia throws him the fastball and brushes the uniform blouse, driving the batter away from the plate. That's ball 1. Willie Mays in this series so far has walked 3 times. He struck out once. He has gone 0 for 5. No hits for 5 official times up. Mays, the right-handed batter, quite a ball hawk, and the National League batting champion, steps away from the plate now. His count is 1 ball and no strikes. Up until just this moment, when George Strickland committed the error, the throwing error at first base, allowing Don Mueller to scoot on down to second, the Cleveland Indians were absolutely errorless in the World Series. Garcia checks his runner at second, delivers the plate, a soft curveball. It's swung on by Mays and punched back foul right off to the right of our Gillette microphone. Bouncing up into the press section and bounces down into the television camera. So somebody goes home over there, and that camera crew, very happily this afternoon with a souvenir of the World Series. There are 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. Don Mueller is the runner at second base for the New York Giants. There is no score here, with leaden overcast skies sucking the pour rain down on us any minute. The pitch to the plate is high and inside to Willie Mays. The count is 2 balls and 1 strike. We got more airplanes flying over this municipal stadium here this afternoon that even Jimmy Dudley, an old pilot himself, can shake a stick at. But he's flying high right here in the broadcasting booth. He doesn't have to be in that plane this afternoon. Jimmy invited me to take a plane ride with him, and I said, let's simmer down after the series is over. We'll do it. Willie Mays up at the plate with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big Mike Garcia has a runner on at second behind him. There are 2 outs for the Giants here in the top half of the first inning. There is no score. Outfield playing sand around the left and deep as Mike Garcia throws the overhand fastball. Mays swings and doesn't get it. That's strike 2. The Visalia right-hander came right back and poured that ball in over the fifth on the inside corner, and Mays liked it. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count on number 24, Willie Mays. Jocko Conlon handling the plate here this afternoon in the 3rd game of the World Series. Down comes the pitch to Mays. Fastball swung on, hit the right field. It's a line drive. Philly comes in. He traps the ball. It bounces off his chest. He goes to second base as Mueller comes on in to score. So Willie Mays gets his first base hit. Willie Mays, a single into right field, a drive and a run here, and the Giants lead 1-0. Don Mueller scooting around and coming on in from second base to score. So the error definitely has hurt right up till now. That's the second hit of Mike Garcia and run number 1. So Cleveland's behind here in the top half of the first inning. The Giants have a runner on at first base and Willie Mays, a pretty good hit-and-run guy. Up at the plate, a pretty good hit-and-run guy with a stick in his hand is Henry Thompson. He's batting at .333 in the series, 2 for 6. And he's played spectacularly at third defensively. A fastball comes from the tying outside as the sun breaks out to cast a shadow here at Cleveland for the first time. 1 ball and no strikes. It's a count on Hank Thompson, a little left-handed hitter standing deep at the plate. The weatherman said exactly at 1 o'clock we should expect the heavens to open up and rain to pour down on us, but it hasn't happened so far. Garcia leans forward. Looks back over his left shoulder, checking Willie Mays at first. The pitch is made to the plate. Thompson takes it high inside. Willie Mays holding right on there at first base. 2 balls, no strikes to count on Thompson. Hank Thompson batting at .333 in series play. Hank has Walked twice, struck out once in the 2 games that had preceded this one. Garcia leaning forward to take his sign, sets his runner Willie Mays. He's always a threat to go. Down comes the pitch. Mays fluffs going, and the pitch is taken at the plate for ball 3. Garcia asks Jocko Conlon for another baseball and gets it. We should like here at the start of the 3rd game of the World Series to compliment the umpires for the work they have done in this World Series so far. We've had 2 fine jobs behind the plate in the 1st and 2nd games. Al Barlick of the National League in the 1st game, a mighty fine job behind the plate. And Charlie Berry, the veteran American League umpire, came up with an equal performance yesterday. And here's Jocko Conlon, a very fine veteran, working the plate this afternoon. An overhand fastball is in there for a strike, and the count on Thompson now is 3-1. Garcia back to visit the rosin bag. Number 25 standing down there on the mound. Steps up, takes his position on the rubber. Willie Mays will take a lead at first now as Vic Wertz holds the inside corner on him. The check of the runner. Down comes the pitch taken. It's outside by Shade on a let-up curveball. So Thompson draws his 3rd base on balls in the series. The first one here this afternoon. The first walk given up by Garcia. Garcia walked 71 over the regular season. Now hitting right-handed is Monty Irvin. Monty has gone 0 for 4 in the series. He's batting, of course, at 0-0-0. The right-hand hitter has an opportunity of knocking in his first run as Willie Mays has moved down to second on the walk handed by Garcia to Thompson. The first pitch to Monty Irvin is a strike. Monty backs to scoop up a handful of dirt, dries hands, rubs him down along his uniform trousers, steps back in, beats the bat down on the rubber of home plate. Garcia now standing out in the sunlight. The sun has broken forth in all of its brilliance here for at least a moment. Delivers to the plate. It's taken high and inside for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike to count on Monty Irvin, the big left fielder of the New York Giants. Batting number 6 in the order. He'll be followed by Davy Williams if he's needed. 5 men have come to the plate. 1 run has been scored by the Giants. They lead 1-0. Willie Mays at second. Hank Thompson's on at first. 2 down. Garcia comes in with an overhand let-up pitch, but outside at the shoulder. That's ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. And there's going to be some activity down in the bullpen now for the Cleveland Indians. Got a right-hander up and starting to throw for Cleveland. That'll be Art Houdleman. Art Houdleman up throwing for Cleveland in the Cleveland bullpen. Down back of the right field line. Interesting note that CJ has just put up here, and I believe that to be true as I quickly glance back through the books. The first team to score in both games that have already been played lost the ball game. The pitch is swung on. There's a high foul ball hit off to the right of the plate and way back into the customers. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Monty Irvin. Yeah, that's right, Paul. Cleveland scored first in the first game and scored first in the second game, and they went on to lose both of them. And now the Giants score the first time here in the top half of the first inning. Just an oddity going along in the series that we'd like to know for you. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count on Monty Irvin with runners at first and second, 2 down, top of the first. The Giants leading 1-0. Now Garcia is set. Checks his runner Willie Mays at second. Delivers the plate, an overhand fastball. Monty Irvin punches the foul off the first baseline. There goes Hegan over near the Cleveland dugout, and Hegan's the guy gets under and makes the catch. Catch on a foul ball by Jim Hegan. So here in the first inning for the New York Giants, 1 run on a pair of base hits. There was 1 walk mixed in there. There was an error committed by Cleveland, and 2 men were left on. So the score at the end of the top half of the first inning is the New York Giants 1. They're now coming to bat Cleveland Indians 0. Yes, sir, this is the gotta-do-it game for the Indians if they want to preserve their World Series win record. If you've had the 1954 Gillette World Series record book handy, you know how it sets up your enjoyment of the game. You'll find it equally valuable this winter and when baseball rolls around next spring. This free pocket-sized book indexed so anyone can put his finger on what he wants quickly gives all-time series scores, a record of every player, modern record-breaking performances, basic rules, baseball playing, scoring instructions, and for budding big leaguers, there are also hints on winning baseball. Get you a copy. Buy a Gillette Super Speed Razor set for $1, the regular price. The record book is attached and it's free, but hurry, they're running out fast. Now into the last half of inning number 1 here at the Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. 1-0 in favor of the New York Giants. They scored one time on 2 base hits, took advantage of a Cleveland error. And we have the first unearned run in the 1954 World Series. Now stepping up to the plate, hitting right-handed is Al Smith. Young fellow who led off for Cleveland yesterday by poking a home run out of the park at the Polo Grounds. He has 3 hits for 8 at-bats, batting at .375. He crowds up on the plate, stands 3/4 deep, and is a choke hitter. Ruben Gomez from Tuxtla, Puerto Rico, is on the mound for the New York Giants. Makes the first pitch, a fastball that's under the knees for ball 1. Ruben Gomez, on the regular season for the New York Giants, won 17 ball games, lost 9, 6-4 shutout. His battery mate is the very dependable Wes Westrum. At first base, Whitey Lockman. Second is Davey Williams. The shortstop, Captain Alvin Dark. At third, Hank Thompson. Out in left field, Marty Irvin. The center fielder is Willie Mays. And in right field is Don Mueller. Al Smith up at the plate waiting now. As Gomez, the right-hander, throws the sidearm fastball. And it's outside. The crossfire missing for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Count here on Al Smith. Thompson's playing a rather shallow third base on his right-hand hitter. Right-hander throws another sidearmer. This one's in off a hit, quite tight up against the batter for ball 3. Outfield stand around the left. For Smith, he'll poke that long ball for you. He proved that yesterday, leading off for Cleveland. The wearer of number 32. Conlon looks down over the shoulder of Weston. Here comes Gomez's pitch. Sidearm let up is outside for ball 4. Cleveland's got the tying run on. That's the second time Smith has walked in the series. First base on balls given up by Gomez. Here's Bobby Avila. Bobby Avila. He's batting at .222. He has 2 for 9 in the series. 1 on, nobody out here in the last half of the first inning. Ruben Gomez looks over at first base to see what Whitey Luckman's doing about holding him close, and he is. Bobby Avila standing in, batting right-handed. The American League batting champion. Gomez throws the pitch to him as the runner breaks it, swung on, and foul tip. So Al Lopez wanted to get that man down to second, get him around. Right away, the Gay Senor playing hit-and-run ball here before the thousands that have jammed in here to the Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. The Giants are leading in the ball game 1-0 by virtue of their 1 run scored at top of first. And wearer of number 1 himself, Bobby Avila, the pet and pride of Veracruz, Mexico, up at the plate here for the Indians. Gomez comes in with a pitch. There's the bunt. Down to the left of the mound. Gomez comes off. Fields throws to first base in time. They've got Bobby Avila. And there is the runner moving down to second. Smith overran second and almost was thrown out. Whitey Luckman whipped that ball over quickly. The shortstop, Alvin Dark. So Avila is out, sacrificing very successfully. A very nicely placed bunt for the left field pitcher's mound as you look out on the diamond. Gomez in a big hurry made the play to Whitey Luckman. Here is Larry Doby. Alvin Dark talking to Ruben Gomez. As this Puerto Rican right-hander gets ready now to pitch to left-hand hitting Larry Doby. The center fielder for the Cleveland Indians has been quite a star for them over the years, particularly this year in the runs batted in department and in the home run department. So Smith is on at second base, a pretty fleet-of-foot guy who can really move around the bases. Doby has a chance to time this ball game up should he come through with a base hit. Sidearm fastball to Doby's low into the dirt. And that is ball 1. Now Gomez set. Down comes the pitch. A fastball that drives Doby back from the plate is flipped over the inside corner chest high right under the letter for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to count on Larry Doby. He holds that bat way down by the end. Starts to bend his knees as though he were about to get down on him. Opens his stance just slightly down toward first base. The outfield is around right and deep. Pitch to him, a let-up curveball is outside knee high for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike on Larry Doby. 1 out for the Indians here in the last half of the first inning. Al Smith, the leadoff man, walked with sacrifice by Bobby Avila down to second base. And he's in scoring position at second in this 1-0 ball game favor the Giants. Tony Cuccinello waiting to wave some traffic by third. Yells up words of encouragement as Gomez pitches outside again to Doby for ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Smith hanging pretty close there at second base. He doesn't want to be caught off. The Giants use the count play quite often. Pitcher will whirl around and make the toss back there, waiting for the man designated to cover. And in the hopes that he does. Time is called as Larry Doby steps away from the plate, and Gomez, about ready to pitch, has to break back off the mound. Now he's set. Smith takes his lead. In comes the pitch. It's taken by Doby over on the outside corner for a called strike, and that's the second one. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, we've got thousands of umpires in the stands here this afternoon. I can tell you that for sure. Oh, everybody sees that pitch just a little bit differently. Of course, it all depends on which side you're rooting for, too. It's the payoff pitch now to Larry Doby, 3-2. Gomez checks his runner at second, delivers the plate fastball. Doby swings, hits a high fly ball to short center field. Coming in is Willie Mays, says he has it. And he has. So there's the second out. Doby flying out to Willie Mays in center. Smith holds on at second, and here is Victor Wirtz. Victor Wirtz carrying the highest batting percentages of anybody on the field right now. For Cleveland in this series, Vic Wirtz obtained from the Baltimore Orioles about the middle of the summer. Has 5 for 8. Including extra base blows, and he is batting right this minute at .625 in World Series play. Big fellow from York, Pennsylvania, hits him left-handed. Prematurely bald guy. Steps up to the plate. He's got pretty good-sized wrists and forearms. Hits him left-handed, stands almost straight away to the pitcher. The outfield comes around slightly to right. Particularly right fielder Don Mueller playing deep in right field. Inside off the hit for ball 1. Last half of the first inning, Cleveland has the tying run on its second, 2 down. Victor Wirtz up there. In comes the pitch. Again, Wirtz backs off 1 inside. That's ball 2. Leo DeRosa must really be masterminding the Giants right down to the Nats heel because Westrom keeps checking in to the Giant dugout. To DeRosa to make sure what he wants called. Gomez delivers a knuckler that swung on the missed for strike. Gomez will flash that knuckler at you every once in a while. And I notice he throws a sidearm pitch, much in the manner of Larry Jansen, who is now on the coaching staff. You know, Larry was taken off of the active staff. He's now coach, but they tell me he's going to make a comeback for next year. He's been working with these pitchers. And in one of the pitches, Gomez sort of emulates the old guy from Forest Grove. The 2-1 delivery. There's the knuckler again. It's outside. 3 balls and 1 strike. Count on Victor Wirtz. Thought for a moment I saw the drop of rain. This was my imagination. 3 balls, 1 strike to count on Victor Wirtz. Smith is on at second in scoring position. The outfield around to right and deep. Gomez set. Comes in 3-1 with the fastball. Swing on and hit right on the line to Alvin Dark at shortstop. Lines out the Dark at short. No, for Cleveland, their threat goes to the boards. No runs. There were no base hits. There were no Giant errors, and Cleveland has now left their 27th man on. The first one here this afternoon. Of all these players on the field this afternoon, one guy stands out in my mind. The fellow that pitched the magnificent ball game yesterday for 5 innings before he was dented. And I went down to the locker room and ran into Early Wynn in that locker room, and he was shaving yesterday. He's a fine guy, just as fine as you ever hope to meet, and he's a real rooter for Gillette. He told me, sure, I use the Gillette Razor Al. There's nothing like it. A quick shave puts me back in form after a tough workout. Early uses that easy-shaving one-piece Gillette I've been telling you about, remember? You get the Gillette World Series record book with it, free. Now we move into the second inning here. at Cleveland. The first lineup for the New York Giants will be Williams starting the last third of their batting order. Williams to be followed by Wes Westrum, and then will come Ruben Gomez as Mike Garcia goes back to the mound. Mike Garcia from Visalia, California. Big, likable right-hander, working with his battery mate Jim Hegan. Davey Williams batting in the series at 0-0-0. He's 0 for 7 is coming up. The wearer of number 10. Davey stands about 3/4 deep at the plate. Feet wide, spread apart, slightly open stance down towards third. Majeski comes up to play shallow at third base. The outfield fans around to the left for Davey. And all hands are ready to go. 1-0 in favor of the Giants here over the Indians at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland in the third game of the 1954 World Series. Garcia is ready. Throws an overhand curveball. It's outside. That's ball one. Garcia will give you a lot of that big motion and show you that slow stuff sometimes. This is best pitch is probably the slider and the fastball. There's the fastball. It's under the knees. 2 balls, no strikes. The count on Davey Williams. Westrum on deck to go next. Herman Franks is your coach for the Giants down behind third. At first is Freddie Fitzsimmons. Boy, that Freddie really was a pitcher in his day, wasn't he? Great goodness, I remember him many times. Pitch, a fastball, fired through at the knees for a called strike. And the count is 2-1 now on Williams. Hagan down to pump the sign. Garcia leans forward to take it. And the pitch now to Davey Williams. Garcia overhand fastball. It's just low and outside. That's ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Outfield isn't playing as deep for Davey Williams as they would play, say, for a guy like Weston. Williams don't hit that long ball too often. Fastball to him is fired across the knees. An overhand fastball to run the count to 3-2. Williams moves that stick back and forth rather nervously. Garcia seems operate the same whether he's ahead or behind. Delivers 3-2. The fastball inside off the knees for ball 4. So Williams walked for his first time this afternoon and the first time in the World Series. That's the second base on balls given up by Garcia. And the batter is Wes Westrum. West has 2 base hits for 6 at-bats. And his percentage for World Series play this year is .333. Right-hand hitter with a slightly open stance down towards third. He sort of catty corners across batter's spot. Works up somewhat on the handle. Walks up on the first pitch and takes it under the knees for ball 1. Davey Williams opens the second inning by getting a walk here for the New York Giants. He's on the first base. Bickworth holds the inside corner. Garcia taking plenty of time. Checks his runner. Williams at first. Delivers the plate. An overhand fastball is through there for a strike right off the pitch. Weston just shook his head as if to say he didn't quite think so. He looks around out at Herman Franks to pick up the sign. It's being relayed from the bench. Williams has that sign. He's already been informed as to what it might be from Freddie Fitzsimmons. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike on Weston. Garcia settles down, deals it off, and Westrum trying to bunt the ball. Misses it completely. The ball gets away from Hegan. There goes the Williams down to second base. So we'll know in a minute whether it's going to be a wild pitch or a pass ball. It's a wild pitch. So we have a wild pitch moving Davey Williams down to second base. Charges the wild pitch to Garcia. So Davey Williams now is in scoring position. Garcia and Majeski are talking things over. Wynn had a wild pitch yesterday, if you recall, and Lemonhead won the first day. So all 3 of the Cleveland pitchers have come up with a wild pitch now in one of the series games. Wes Westrum at the plate with a count of 2 balls, 1 strike. Davey Williams now in scoring position. 1-0 in favor of the New York Giants. They scored in the top of the first inning. Garcia pitches. Westrum tries to bunt this one and fouls it off to the right of the plate. So they're trying to get Williams over to third to score him on that sacrifice fly, if no other way. But Westrum now has the count of strike 2, so the big danger of the bunt goes to the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count on Westrum.
Western's a very determined guy. Very hard-working guy. They call him the bulldog behind the plate. I guess he is in a way. He sort of sticks in there all the time and hangs on. Garcia ready to pitch to him, 2-2. He does. It's swung and a miss for strike 3. Well, Gomez setting that fastball and got him. That's the second strikeout for Garcia. And Ruben Gomez, a pretty fair hitting pitcher, comes up to the plate. Wes Western from Clearbrook, Minnesota. Now living in Hyde Park, New York, strides back to the Giant dugout down the third baseline to sit down. Ruben Gomez coming up to the plate. Ruben Gomez hits him right-handed just as he pitched him. The pitch is Puerto Rico right-handed. He has an overly closed stance, left foot forward to the plate. Tall and slender. If memory serves me rightly, Ruben Gomez hit a home run this year for the Giants. And please remember that's strictly from memory. Swings on the first pitch and doesn't get it. Garcia really pouring that fastball in there. Davey Williams still on there at second base. One out here in the top of the second inning. Giants leading 1-0. Garcia works again, takes something off the fastball, and misses with it blown outside to Gomez. His count is 1 ball, 1 strike with him now. On deck to go next is the Giant leadoff man, first baseman Whitey Lockman. He started everything off here in this ball game with a line drive single into right center. Garcia again a check of the runner at second. That's Davey Williams. Looks down at Gomez. Then delivers to him an overhand fastball. Gomez pounds it into center field. Larry Doby off to his left, gets under, takes the line drive, hurriedly whips that ball in, and Davey Williams has to hold on at second. Gomez hit the ball well, all right, but lined it right to Larry Doby. We have the second out here in the top half of inning number 2. Whitey Lockman moves in. The old Carolina Comet. He's one of the most quiet guys you'll meet in a long time. Whitey Lockman. He and Don Mueller, I think if you put them in a room all by themselves, they probably wouldn't have 50 words of conversation in 24 hours. Mike Garcia ready to pitch to Whitey Lockman. Only seen Whitey get hopping mad twice on the playing field, and Don Mueller only one time. Always steady performance, both of them. Now Garcia gets set. Takes his time from Hegan after shaking one off. He's ready, looks at Williams at second. Hesitates, and then breaks back off the mound and chases Williams back into second. Wojcicki is playing shallow at third base. Down comes the pitch to the plate now to Lockman slow. Count is 1 ball and no strike. I can imagine it's really something for Hank Wojcicki to be down there playing at third base in the World Series. As he's been a utility man for several years, he probably figures this is a real opportunity. A renaissance, so to speak. Garcia delivers. The fastball is over at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike now is the count on Whitey Lockman. Garcia taking plenty of time, kicking dirt. 2 outs, 1 on. Williams at second. He was walked and was wild pitched to second. Garcia trying to get out of his trouble here with the Giants leading 1-0. Delivers. Lockman swings and beats 1 foul. And while we have a new ball going in play, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, the radio network for all Americans.
WGN Chicago, your exclusive World Series station.
Right back to the business at hand here at Cleveland. It's Mike Garcia pitching to Whitey Lockman with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. And down in the Cleveland bullpen, Art Houdeman. Right-hander warming up for Cleveland just in case Garcia should have any more trouble here in inning number 2. Mike has been touched for 1 run and 2 hits. All of that coming in the first inning. 1 error behind him, of course, did not help him. The run, incidentally, is unearned in case you tuned in late. Garcia is ready. delivers a curveball swung on by Lockman and dribbled up the first baseline where Vic Wirtz picks it up. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Down on Whitey Lockman. Hanging around, hoping to get a chance to hit in the inning is Alvin Dark. Cleveland infield, Victor Wirtz at first, Bobby Avila at second, George Strickland at short, and Hank Majeski at third. Lockman choking up on the handle of the bat, standing away from the plate with an open stance slightly down toward first. Outfield playing him as a punch hitter into left field. They're not even playing him straight away. The big hole in the outfield's in right center. Looks at daylight, too, down the right field line. Garcia delivers. Whitey Lockman swings and cuts his foul back to the screen. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Whitey. Davey Williams. Been out at second base there so long, he's about to grow roots. Shuts down now, takes his lead. Garcia keeps checking back there to make sure make sure David Williams is not taking too much of a lead. Now he delivers the plate to Whitey Lockman. Swung on. There's a high fly ball hung along the right field line. It could be trouble if it's in there, but Avila goes back and steps over in foul territory, takes that ball and stumbles and turns on the cinder track and goes down. He's all right. A very, very nice play by Bobby Avila. In foul territory, steps across the line, deep behind first base. Oh, made a great play out of that one. So Whitey Lockman is out, fouling out to the second baseman, Bobby Avila. Go for the Giants. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 man was left on. A round of applause for Bobby Avila as he comes off the playing field. He richly deserves it. Now the score at the end of 1.5 innings of play is New York 1 and Cleveland 0.
My opponent is no good.
My opponent can't even count.
You're wrong.
I'm right. Although we argue politics, on one thing we'll agree. Sports liquor, better looking shade. It's the last supersede.
My friend, you change blades 1, 2, 3, and fast, quick saves you get.
Plus double-edged economy. The people's choice Gillette to look sharp. When you face the world to feel sharp. On the ball and just be sharp. Get your whiskers off with the modern Gillette Super Speed.
Well, don't forget, friends, the valuable Gillette World Series record book is included free when you buy a Gillette Super Speed razor. Now, Hank Majeski. He was used as a pinch batter over in New York. And Hank Majeski's 0 for 1. So he's coming up for his second time in World Series play. Hank Majeski batting right-handed. He's a little fellow, very stockily put together, heavy set through the legs. Pretty good-sized chest on him. Gomez tries the fastball on him and misses with it outside. Low for ball 1. He gets away from Western, scoots back to the screen. Majeski came on as a pinch batter in the 9th inning, the first game of the World Series, and didn't even get a chance to get up to the plate. Mitchell came in to bat for him when Durocher pulled some strategy and shifted pitches from Little to Grissom. This next pitch is over but low, and the count is ball 2 on Majeski. No strike. Gomez, sidearm fastball, flails it through there to knees for a called strike. 2 balls and 1 strike on Hank Majeski. I can guarantee you that should the Cleveland Indians pop up with anything in this ball game this afternoon, this crowd, and there's a good one here, will really tear the place down. The Giants have won a pair, and the Indians are trying to dent it. There's a curveball to Majeski, good at the knees for a called strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Hank Majeski. He's the number 5 hitter in the Cleveland order, coming up for his first time in the ball game, leading off here in the second inning. Giants leading 1-0. Gomez sets, delivers 2-2, a sidearm curveball, swung on and bounced foul down to Tony Cuccinello, coaching behind third. Flips it over to Gomez. Probably you can hear in the background the rattle of the telegraph keys, sending the descriptions of this ball game to parts of the world where radio probably has not been able to get to. And that would be very small, I think, because heavens knows this one's going all over the place. Fastball swung on by Majewski. There's a high pop foul off the first base line. Whitey Lockman gets over under it, makes the catch, and Majewski is out. That brings on Dave Philly. Dave Philly is looking for his first World Series hit. He's 0 for 4. The switch hitter from Paris, Texas, will be batting left-handed against Ruben Gomez. He's been quite a defensive man for Cleveland this year. Dave Philly, obtained from the Philadelphia Athletics by the Cleveland Indians. Gomez ready to work to him. Delivers a sidearm curve. It stays outside about shoulder high. Gomez will throw you the screwball every now and then, and he works it particularly to left-hand hitters. Looks like that's what that might have been. Comes down again with an overhand fastball and misses with it again. That's ball 2. Low and outside. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 out, nobody on. Last half of the second inning. Cleveland up at bat and trailing 1-0. Gomez, sort of a spindly leg guy, standing out on the mound, leaning forward, taking his time from Western. Pump goes to the top of the pump, comes down with a curveball that Philly strides into and takes shoulder high for ball 3. Three balls, no strikes. Continues to be dark and overcast here at Cleveland. Now the 3-0 delivery. A fastball inside for ball 4. So Philly picks up the second walk, given up by Gomez. Here's George Strickland. George Strickland in the World Series has gone 0 for 6. So he has no batting percentage. George has been a victim of strikeouts twice. He has a completely closed stance and bats right-handed. Tall, thin fella from New Orleans, Louisiana. Gomez checks his runner, the potential tying run for Cleveland at first, and Dave Philly. Then wheels the pitch into the plate. Strickland takes it over for a strike. No balls, 1 strike. The count on George Strickland. 1 out, 1 on here in the last half of the second inning. These Cleveland Indians are grim and determined this afternoon. This is a game they've got to win. Curveball to Strickland is under the knees. Count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Gomez bouncing that ball around in his mitt. Steps up, puts his foot on the rubber. Looks around the infield and outfield, and then peers down to his batter, George Strickland. Dave Philly takes his lead at first base. Whitey Lockman inside on the corner. The pitch is swung on by Strickland and missed. Gomez came in with a sidearm medium speed pitch. He throws a lot of his stuff 3/4 overhand and some of it sidearm. Very rarely does he go completely overhand with his pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wouldn't be a bit surprised that Gomez said he might be listening in this afternoon. There's an overhand pitch outside. 3/4 overhand. Ruben Gomez Daddy is a pitcher, I understand, down in Puerto Rico. 2 balls, 2 strikes is the count here on George Strickland, the wearer of number 2. 2-2. Dave Philly ready to run on anything, takes his plate at first base, then strides off a couple of steps. Gomez 2-2's the plate, curveball swung on and found it right back to the mound. Gomez is high off the mound, takes the ball, throws to Davey Williams for the out. The field of first base is not in time. Gomez came off that mound like a small kitten. Bounced high on that ball, made the throw back to second base to Davey Williams, who was taken out of that play very nicely by Davey Williams, but he got it by Dave Philly, but he got his throw off anyway. Jim Higgin, the batsman. Two down for Cleveland in the second. George Strickland, the runner at first base, and Jim Higgin, batting at 125, is coming up to the plate. Jim has had 1 base hit. A double. He hit into left center field. That was in the second inning of yesterday's ball game. He was sacrificed down to third, but died there in that second inning. Jim Higgin, right-hand batter. Massachusetts boy leaning over the plate. Takes Gomez fastball outside for ball 1. Those fast pitches with this gray overcast here today are going to look even faster. George Strickland takes the lead now at first. 2 down here in the second. Pitch to Higgin is a low curveball under the knees. That's ball 2. Jim Higgin has struck out just 1 time in the series, and he's caught for Cleveland all through the series, with the exception of the time he was lifted, and Mickey Gresso in the first game came on to catch an inning. 2 balls, no strikes on Higgin, right-hand batter. Sidearm curveball. Higgin goes a little bit too far around, trying to check himself, and it's called against him for strike 1. Cleveland has come up with a pitching here in this World Series, but the highly vaunted bats of the Cleveland Indians have been, in a way, rather silent. So that might be the answer to the edge the Giants now have. Gomez ready with the 2-1 delivery to Higgin. Wheels it up there, and Higgin swings on it, sends a bounding ball down the third baseline foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count on Jim Higgin. 2 outs, 1 on. Last half of the second inning. Score 1-0 in favor of the New York Giants. It was figured by most of the experts that Cleveland had a pretty good opportunity to win this ball game this afternoon. Going with Mike Garcia, a pretty good fastballer. And they still have a lot of time to win this ball game. We're just in the last half of the second inning. 2 down for Cleveland, 1 on. The tying run at first. Gomez, pretty tough right-hander in his own right. Delivers, 3/4 overhand pitch is outside and low. 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now George Strickland will be off and moving towards second base when Gomez fires away to Higgin. Strickland about to step off and take his lead. Gomez goes to the top of the stretch, hesitates, and quickly throws over to first. That is, his motion was quick, but his toss was easy because Strickland hadn't wandered away too far. Count remains 3-2 on Higgin as he digs in at the plate. Now Gomez sets, delivers. There goes the runner. The pitch is swung on and fouled back to the screen off to our right. Slams right up into the television booth off to our right. Our good friend Jack Brickhouse and Russ Hodges are working. Count remains 3-2 on Jim Higgin. Gomez sets, gets ready. Checks George Strickland. Down comes the pitch. There goes Strickland. The ball is swung on. Hit down to third. Deep behind third. Thompson comes up with it. Throws into the dirt at first, but Whitey Lockman comes up with it, and Higgin is out. So that retires the side. Lockman digging out Thompson's low throw at first base. And here in the second inning, again, the Cleveland Indians have a tying run on. Cannot capitalize. No runs. There were no base hits. There were no errors, and 1 man was left on. So right here at the end of 2 full innings of play, it's New York 1 and Cleveland nothing. In a ball game that promises to give us just as many thrills as we have had in the first 2 that were played over at the Polo Grounds in New York City. And while Mike Garcia comes out there, starts to get ready for inning number 3, I'd just like to switch over here to my sidekick, Jimmy Dudley, and see what his comments in the first 2 innings might possibly be. Jimmy, how about that? What do you think?
Well, I'm getting a great deal of pleasure out of watching this Ruben Gomez work. This is the first time that we've actually seen him in tough competition. And I'm telling you, that screwball that he has really has the boys up there baffled. They don't know exactly what they're swinging for, and so far he's been master of the situation. But the game is sort of moving along just like the first 2. The Giants broke on top, and it's one of those days when you sort of figure that the Indians must have the break coming somewhere.
Well, all right, Jim, and we can expect this afternoon, as it wears on, to see both of these fellas, Gomez and Garcia, find that fastball right up until the last minute. And one thing we can caution you to be watching for as far as Gomez is concerned, as the afternoon goes on, he'll come in more and more sidearm with his pitches. Mike Garcia, of course, the big fan of his fastball pitching is of the overhand variety. Now let's see what he's going to do here with the Giants in the top half of the 3rd inning. He's behind 1-0 as the Giants lead by that margin. Alvin Dark is the batsman who struck out the first inning. He'll be followed by Don Mueller and then by Willie Mays. Mike Garcia, big right-hander, delivers an overhand fastball. Dark swings on it, loops it out into left center field. That's going to be in there for the base hit. Coming over is Goby to pick it up on the first skip and fire it into George Strickland. So Dark opens with a single into left center. That'll get him his first hit this afternoon, give him his 4th World Series hit. And that's hit number 3 off Garcia. So Alvin Dark's first. Don Mueller, who forced out Whitey Lockman at second, and he himself Went on to second when George Strickland committed the only Cleveland error in the series by throwing wild at first base. Down comes the pitcher to run a break. Pitcher swung on and hit through the hole between short and third and out into left field. There goes Alvin Dark all the way around to third. Don Mueller hitting through the left side of the infield, into left for a single. Slow bounding ball that died about halfway out into left field, and by the time Smith got it, was able to make the throw in. Alvin Dark, running on the blow, has moved all the way into third base. So now Garcia is in trouble again. That's the fourth hit given up by Mike. That's the third hit Mueller has picked up in the series, going to bat 11 times. Willie Mays has one base hit for one time up today, and as he's standing in, runners at first and third. Majeski playing just off third, works on the inside corner on Mueller at first, and the second base combination playing a double play death. Pitch is swung on by Mays. There's the drive down to third to Majeski. He's got the ball, fires it into Higgins. They've got Alvin Dark and Horsey between home and third. There is Higgins tagging him out. And while the Horsey was going on for the tag out, the runners moved on down to second and third. So Mueller has moved in to third base on the fielder's choice. Willie Mays gets all the way down to second. And the play went from Majeski, third baseman, to Higgins. Back to Majeski and back to Higgins. Trying to make the tag on Alvin Dark. So we have one out here in the top of the third inning. Runners at second and third. And the batter coming up now is Thompson. Alvin Dark caught in the rundown. Hank Majeski's first opportunity. Infield pulls up tight now. And Hank Thompson on there is going to be out. The play is going to be put on intentionally. They're not going to monkey around with him at all. They're going to put him on and set it up for a possible chance for a double play. Oh, there is ball three. Now ball four. So Thompson is intentionally walked. That'll be the third base on ball given up by Garcia. He's standing out there at second base. Al Barlick, you know, fans of second base umpire is standing in fair territory, and that raises a question. If a batted ball strikes him before reaching a fielder, is the hitter safe or out? Well, you'll find the answer in the Gillette World Series record book. To get a copy free, just buy the new one-piece Gillette razor at the regular price. Well, fans, here's the guy that's been giving the Cleveland Indians fits. Dusty Rhodes, who's hammered 2 home runs in World Series play for the New York Giants. He's standing for Monty Irvin with the bases loaded, one out here in the top half of the third inning. Dusty Rhodes, R-H-O-D-E-S. He'll probably stay in the ball game to play in the field. Garcia delivers to him. Rhodes swings, and it's a base hit to right field. In comes Don Mueller to score the second run. Right behind him comes Sergeant Willie Mays. Thompson moves over to third. Well, there are 2 more runs batted in. Dusty Rhodes batting here in the third inning. Let's check up on this guy, Rhodes. He's still batting 1,000. That gives him 4 hits for 4 at-bats. He has now batted in 7 runs. Batted in 7 runs for the New York Giants. Gets through here this afternoon. Hit number 5, runs 2 and 3 up Garcia. And he now ties Dr. Bobby Brown, who held the record as a pinch batter in the World Series. In 3 hits. Now Dusty Rhodes has 3 pinch hits in the World Series. Up to the plate is Davey Williams, taking the first pitch over for a called strike. Rhodes is single to right field. Moving Thompson around to third and scoring a pair. So it's 3-0 in favor of the Giants over Cleveland. Garcia delivers. Davey Williams snaps his head back and takes the fastball. It's the 10 point for ball 1. And so what was it they said this morning about Dusty Rhodes? Give him an inch, he'll take a mile. Boy, he's taking a mile against Cleveland this year. Garcia ready. Delivers an overhand fastball with the runner breaking from third. Squeezes on, and the run scores. There is a throw to first base. It's not in time. Not in time to Victor Worth. So the Giants squeeze in their 4th run. It's now 4-0. And the official scores are talking over the situation now. Whether it's going to be a base hit or not, we'll know in a moment. Mike
Garcia is going to be charged with an error for holding that ball too long. So it's going to be a sacrifice for Williams on an error on Garcia. But the run has been squeezed in. Up at the plate is Western. Pitch to him is over for a strike. Garcia's next delivery evens the count at 1-1. Rhodes on that squeeze play, sacrifice, which was the squeeze play. Moved to second. The pitch to Western, low for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. So the Giants have sort of broken out in a rash here in the third inning, picking up 3 runs to go out in front 4-0. Garcia checks his runners. Bears back, delivers to Western, who hits the ball back to the mound. Garcia has it close to first base to work for the out as the runners advance. Williams moves down to second. Dusty Rhodes, who batted here in the third inning for Marty Irvin, singled in a pair of runs, has now moved down on the infield out, third base. 2 out, 2 on. The Giants have runners in scoring position, second and third. The batter coming up is Ruben Gomez. Probably feels a great deal better about the situation. Down the bullpen for Cleveland, Art Houdeman. Back up and throwing again. Garcia wheels the pitch in there, and Gomez swings on it and doesn't get it. The last minute he tried to check himself, but he'd gone too far. Rhodes, who batted for Irvin, is on at third base. Williams, the second base runner, first is open. Garcia delivers a let-up curve. Taken. Right up high at the peak of the cap, runs his count to 1-1. Just looking through the record book here. Gehrig has 9 runs batted in, according to the Gillette World Series record book, to lead in single series. Rhodes now has 7. Gomez swings on the next pitch and fouls it down the first base line way back into the crowd. So all this guy Rhodes at third base has to do to tie Gehrig's record in the way of runs batted in the single series is pick up a pair now. He's got maybe the rest of today. It all depends on what DeRoche is going to do, whether he's going to allow Rhodes to stay in left or not. He's got today and tomorrow to do it, for sure. And if Cleveland could come back and win this one, it'll go more than that. The pitch to plate to Gomez is over for called strike 3. So that's all. 8 men come to bat here for New York, the third inning. Gomez gets his third, Garcia gets his third strikeout. Gomez the victim. And in the third inning, 3 big runs for the New York Giants, picked up on 1, 2, 3 base hits. There was 1 error, and there were 2 men left on. So the score here at the end of 2.5 innings of play, the New York Giants 4, and the Cleveland Indians nothing. Well, Alvin Dark's certainly been sparking this ball club as far as the Giants are concerned on the inner defense. And Alvin not only goes all out in baseball, but Alvin Dark goes all out on what a clean, brisk Gillette shave does for a fellow when he's bushed. Alvin, and by the way, this goes for Lou Boudreau, Bob Feller, and Charlie Grimm. Alvin says that a slick, clean shave with today's Gillette Super Speed Razor is a real breaker. How about doing a real big thing for yourself? Get a Gillette Super Speed Razor and discover how much of a lift a smooth, refreshing shave can give you. The Super Speed is precision-made all in one piece. There's nothing to take apart. You change blades or rinse it clean in seconds. Buy a Gillette Super Speed Razor set, $1. Attached free is the pocket-size, 112-page Gillette World Series record book. As we had expected, Dusty Rhodes goes into left field now for the New York Giants, playing left in the last half of the third, and Bob Lemon comes up to bat for Mike Garcia. Bob Lemon, the pitcher, hits from left-handed. Gomez feeds him the fastball, and it's taken over at the knees for called strike. So Garcia is all through here after having pitched 3 innings in which he gave up 4 runs, 5 hits, walked 3, struck out 3, and wild pitched 1 time. The pitch to plate taken by Lemon, it is strike 2 call. Time is called for the second while Weston goes out, talks to Gomez.
actually, just was out in front of the plate and yelled something up to him. Bob Lemon, and we told you on several occasions, has been used as a pinch batter, although he is a pitcher. Swings on his pitch, misses for strike three. So that's all for Bob Lemon as he goes down pinch batting for Garcia here in the third inning. And before we have Smith, the top of the batting order, coming up for Cleveland, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, the radio network for all America.
WGN, the Chicago Tribune station, your exclusive World Series station.
Ruben Gomez ready now to deliver to Smith. The first pitch to him is a crossfire, low and outside for ball one. One out for Cleveland, last half of the third. The score is 4-0 in favor of the Giants. They scored one in the first inning, three in a big third, in which they sent 8 men to the plate. Gomez delivers, pitch is swung on, and hits right back on the line to the pitcher. Gomez holds it for out number 2. 2 down, last half of the third, as the Giants continue to handcuff the Cleveland Indians. Bobby Avila, who sacrificed successfully in the first inning, coming up now for his first official at-bat of the afternoon. Gomez, who has been old man tough here this afternoon, he's been ice water personified. It's ready to pitch to Bobby Avila. Down comes that first pitch, and Avila takes the sweeper across the corner on the outside. That's about waist high, strike one. Mike Garcia, in going 3 innings here this afternoon against the Giants, used exactly 61 pitches. Gomez uses one up on a curveball inside to Avila. Count is 1 ball, 1 strike on him. Avila wearing number 1. 4-0 the score in favor of the Giants. Gomez ready, delivers 1-1, a sidearm fastball that misses low and outside, and Avila's count moves off to 2-1. Avila back in to take his chance. Gomez set. Ruben fires away. There's that sidearm fastball. It's over for a strike, and that's the second one. That's a pretty rough pitch to look at. Gomez throws it pretty well. When he's right, Gomez is right, he's pretty tough. Archer's seen him come out this year, too, and get clobbered on occasion. Well, I guess that happens to any pitcher. Small is great. Avila, after the next pitch, bounds one down the third baseline foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last half of inning number 3. 2 outs, nobody on for Cleveland. They've left 2 men on. They left on 1 in the first inning by virtue of a walk, and 1 in the second. He got on as a walk. Gomez delivers fastball, swung on and hit down to third. Thompson waits for it, picked up now, hurries to throw to first, and Avila is out for 1 strike. So Avila grounds out from third to first. Thompson to Lockman to retire the side. And for Cleveland in the third inning, nothing is wrong. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. At the end of the third inning, the score is New York 4 and Cleveland nothing.
Look sharp, feel sharp and listen, listen. How are you fit for play? Do you have friends? How are you fit for play? You better catch it. Please make sure you have enough. Cause a worn out blade makes shaving mighty tough. How are you fit for play? Better look direct to the relief.
Inconvenient dispensers with used blade compartments. Gillette Blue Blades are 20 for 98 cents, 10 for 49 cents. Now the business of inning number 4 here at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. For the New York Giants, their leadoff man, Whitey Lockman, due to come up there. He'll be followed by the number 2 hitter, Alvin Dark, and then by Don Mueller. Whitey Lockman comes up, and the new pitcher for the Cleveland Indians will be Art Hoteman. Art Hoteman relieving for Cleveland. Ready for the first pitch by Art Hoteman to Whitey Lockman. Art pumps right. Chris throws an overhand curve. Let up Ratty, and it's inside for ball 1. Art Hoteman pitching now for the Cleveland Indians. Young fellow born in Detroit, Michigan, now lives in Birmingham, Michigan. Throws the fastball and misses with that. That's ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Hart, bump slide, twist, throws, an overhand fastball, and lays it 2 there to Whitey Lockman for a strike. Count is 2-1. Hart takes the sign again from Egan. Bears down on the next pitch and swung on as the bounding ball hit the shortstop. Strickland has it off to his right, up close, first base, and Whitey Lockman is out. Right now is Alvin Dark. Hardman gets ready to face him now. Hart this year won 15 and lost 7 in appearing in 32 games. He curves Dark and gets it over to knees for a strike. Dark stands there and waits. Hardeman comes in with a big curveball. It drives Dark back from the plate, slipped in off the short rib. 1 ball, 1 strike. Down on the Giant captain. Dark this afternoon has 1 for 2. He struck out the first inning. Hit a single to left center field. The lead off the third. The third in which the Giants scored 3 times. Fastball to Dark swung on. There's a fly ball to right field. Getting under the Philly on the routine chance and takes it for out number 2. 2 down. Nobody on. Top of the 4th for the Giants. And with the bases empty, Don Mueller comes up. He won't be able to do any damage this time as far as driving men from first to third on the single to left. Pitch to ends a fastball inside off the knees. Don just sort of jackknife back from the plate to keep him being hit. 1 ball, no strike. Don choking up on the wood. Hardeman with that gangly pumping motion of his delivers, and the pitch is outside. 2 balls, no strike. 4-0 in favor of the Giants. They scored 1 in the first, 3 in the third to lead 4-0 as we move along in the top of the 4th. Hardeman delivers 2-0. Mueller swings and gets just enough of it to tip it foul. 2-1. Now little patches of blue try to peek through the overcast. We might get by without rain here this afternoon instead. An overhand fastball punched by Don Muir. Out by second base on a high pop-up. Bobby Avila coming on under it. He's got it. Well, that's all here for the Giants. And the roar of the crowd, showing that they're pleased with the fact that the Giants go down a 1-2-3 order for the first time this afternoon with nothing to score. And the score at the end of 3 1/2 innings of play remains New York 4 and Cleveland nothing. If you're crowding 21 or have just passed that point, ride with me a moment, will you? While I have a word about shaving with the younger guys. What I want to get across is this. Far and away, the great majority of men start with Gillette and rely on the Gillette razor to make the job of shaving as quick, easy, and comfortable as can be. And the reason is as simple as all this. Day in and day out, only Gillette can give them shaves that feel so good and look so good or last so long. You'll go along with this, that's a bet, when you try the Gillette Super Speed Razor. It's available value at only $1, complete with Blue Blade dispenser and handy traveling case. And remember, you get the World Series record book with it, free. Into the last half of the 4th inning here, as Larry Doby strolls up to the plate for Cleveland to face Ruben Gomez. Ruben, like Early Wynn yesterday, has been just about as tough as anyone could imagine the pitcher to be. If you recall, it was Early Wynn pitching for Cleveland yesterday. Promoted the Giants down with surprising rapidity until he ran into a pitfall in the 5th inning. And let's see what's going to happen with Gomez as he steps in for the 4th inning to pitch to Larry Doby. Doby, who has gone 0 for 1 with a fly ball to center field. Gomez throws him the fastball, and Doby takes it high. That's ball 1. That's sure, a ball game can turn right around in the twinkling of an eye. Gomez delivers. Doby swings on a slow curve and doesn't get it. That's strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Gomez had him completely fooled on the screwball. Now the 1-1 pitch. There's the fastball. Swung on by Doby. Loops out in left field. It's going to drop in there for the first base hit off Gomez. Doby is on. Rhodes comes in, fires that ball back in. Doby opens the fourth with a single to left field. Victor Wirtz gets a round of applause. The first base hit comes off Gomez here in the fourth. First base hit off early win came yesterday by the Giants in the fifth inning. So it may be that the call has gone out just one inning early. Run on a minute, 4-0 ball game in favor of New York. Cleveland trying to battle their way back. They know this has got to be the game. Victor Wirtz, the batter. Wirtz came up in the first inning and retired to side by hitting a short line drive to shortstop to Alvin Dart. Gomez checks his runner at first, delivers the plate. Wirtz takes the screwball outside for ball one. Getting appreciably lighter here at Cleveland. Hope it continues to do so. 1-0 delivery. Curveball looks like another screwball, and that's low and outside. Victor Wirtz count, 2 balls, no strikes. The outfield playing just about straight away for Wirtz, and they're playing him deep. Who wouldn't after he drove Willie Mays to a most surprising catch at the Polo Grounds in the first game of the series? Pitch is swung on by Wirtz, and it's for strike one. Two balls, 1 strike on Victor Wirtz. The wearer of number 23. Trying to dry the bat handle off now as he steps up to the plate. Measures the bat off on the rubber of home plate. Takes the preliminary swing, puts the bat up on his shoulder. Gomez sets now and delivers to him. High inside curveball. That's ball 3. 3-1 the count on Victor Wirtz. 4-0 to count in the ball game in favor of the Giants. They walked right out and got one in the first inning and added 3 more in the third to lead 4-0. Cleveland getting their first hit here in the fourth inning. Pitch to the plate to Wirtz is over. Fastball with the knees for strike 2 call. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Victor Wirtz. The runner at first base is Larry Doby. He hit a handle blooper out into left field. He's on. Wasn't a solidly hit ball. Was just sort of looped out there. Down comes the pitch 3-2. It's swung on. There's a bounding ball hit down to Davey Williams. He goes back to Dark for 1 out at second to throw to first, not in time. So Doby is erased on the 4th out at second base from second baseman Williams to shortstop Alvin Dark. Victor Wirtz, outlegging the throw to first base, is on at first with 1 down here in the last half of the 4th inning. The batter is Hank Majeski. He's gone 0 for 1 today. He's 0 for 2 in the series, despite the fact he didn't get a chance to swing 1 time. First time he came up to the plate, he was there immediately for a pinch batter. One out, 1 on, last half of the 4th. Hank Majeski, wearing number 5, steps up to the plate, right-hand hitter. Stands his feet pretty much together. Takes the first pitch over for strike 1 call. Ruben Gomez throwing that 3/4 side-arm fastball. Outfield around the left and deep. Majeski can hit that long one for you. There's a lot of power in those wrists and forearms of his. Struck a little fella. Gomez curveball is pounded foul down the third baseline. The ball, 2 strikes. Jocko Conlon, left-handed umpire, steps out behind Majeski, whips that ball back to the mound. A new one back to the mound to Gomez. That's some combination of left-handed Irishman. Now the 0-2 pitch here on Hank Majeski. Gomez eyes his runner, Vic Wirtz at first. Second and third open, 1 out. Down comes the pitch. Majeski snaps his head back and takes a curve right off the point of the chin for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gomez not in a bit of a hurry. Takes so much time that Majeski steps away from the plate to get a double handful of dirt and dry his hands. Squeezes the neck end of the bat, and he's ready to step up there now. There he goes, moving into batting spot. 3 Rick Worth steps off at first. Lockman's not holding him on. Partway back to his depth. Plate swung on by Majewski. There's a two-hopper. Hit the dark. He's up with it. Goes to Williams for one to throw the first. There's the first double play in the World Series. Frank Majewski wrapped into the first double play. 1954 World Series. It goes from Alvin Dark to Davy Williams to Whitey Lockman. Wirtz got on the front end of the double play to retire the side here in the last half of the fourth inning. No runs, one hit, no errors, and there was no one left on. So the score at the end of 4 innings of play now is New York 4 and Cleveland nothing. Well, in these days of growing international tensions, national defense is everybody's business. And what is more important than a strong defense against atomic attack by air? The Ground Observer Corps in the United States and Canada needs thousands of civilian volunteers to learn to spot and identify low-flying planes that cannot be picked up by radar. Your contribution will be only a few hours a week at an observation post or filter center near your home. The silver wings of the GOC will show your neighbors that you are playing a key role in your country's defense. Write or call your local Civil Defense Center. In Canada, write to the Air Defense Command, St. Hubert, Quebec. Now for inning number 5. Willie Mays to lead off for the Giants. He has 1 for 2. Hit a single to right field in the first inning to get his first World Series base hit. Then comes Thompson, followed by Dusty Rhodes, who again has been the difference in the ball game. Art Hardeman delivers to Willie Mays and throws the crossfire crossed at the knees for a strike. Art Hardeman in relief of Mike Garcia. So it means that we have a new Cleveland battery. The pitch to the plate to Willie Mays is over, but low for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hardeman pumps, kicks, and throws 1 run, curveball. Willie Mays swings on it, hits a high fly ball to the light tower off the left field line. Said a few minutes ago that Cleveland has a new battery. That's right. When one man has changed, the battery is new, and Art Hardeman is the pitcher now. Mentioning the name of the word battery, you know, I've been using that term for years without knowing just how it began. And now I know, because the answer is right there in the Gillette World Series book, along with the answers of other important baseball questions. Willie Mays, after the next pitch, hits a high fly ball in the deep left center field. There goes Larry Doby back. He's still going back. He's under it, and he makes the catch easily. Well, Willie Mays is out. Doby taking care of that one. And Doby slides around out there in center field like greased lightning. Thompson is the batter now for New York. Hank Thompson, hitting left-handed. The Giants have 4 runs right now on 5 base hits. All off Garcia. They've committed no errors this afternoon. Slow curveball by Hardeman is taken by left-handed batting Thompson outside for ball 1. The Giants so far in this ball game have stranded 5 men. The runs a total of 17 for the series. Hardeman delivers the plate. Thompson takes the curve, and it's over. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out, top of the 5th. No base runners for the Giants. They're leading here by the score 4-0. Cleveland has no runs. On 1 base hit, they've committed a pair of errors, and have stranded 2 men. Thompson swings on the next pitch and loops it out into left center field. It's in there for the base hit. Doby comes in quickly to pick up. There goes Thompson. He's going to try for 2. Doby still comes hurriedly in the Strickland slide, and Thompson's in there. So Thompson gets a double into left center field. That'll be hit number 1 off Art Hardeman, hit number 6. That's the first extra base hit other than Dusty Rhodes' 2 home runs for the Giants. One out, one on here in the 5th inning. Dusty Rhodes coming up there, and he's going to walk him. So this time, Dusty, you're not going to park it for us. Dusty Rhodes is being given an intentional base on ball. That'll be the first walk by Hardeman, the 4th walk picked up by the Giants here this afternoon. Dusty Rhodes, they respect his bat. They might not worry too much about him out in the field, but when he comes up there swinging that lumber, he's an old-time slugger, and they say, So he starts off first base now, and with 1 out, we have runners at second and first, and the batter is Davy Williams. Davy, who sacrificed successfully in the 3rd inning, An error was charged to Garcia. When I say sacrifice successfully, please, no, I mean the success of his sacrifice was it was the squeeze play and got the run in. Now we're ready for Hardiman's delivery. Fastball fired off the fifth on the inside corner to Davy Williams for called strike. Hardiman troubled the bases behind him, tricked both runners. Overhand fastball swung on and hit deep to shortstop. Crispin digs it out, throws it to Avila for one to throw over the first base, so it's not in time. He comes up with a nice save, throw it into the dirt. So they get one. Williams is the runner at first. Rhodes with the race going into second base. From Crispin to Avila. Shortstop to the second baseman covering, and on fourth out Thompson, who's right over to take station at third. So the Giants have runners at first and third now. Second is open, 2 down. And the batter is West Westrum. 4-0 ball game in favor of the New York Giants. As we move along here at the Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. Third game of the World Series. The Giants have won 2. Cleveland trying to win 1 here this afternoon. Art Hardiman in relief of Garcia. Ready to deliver to Westrum. The guys and West takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Westrum this afternoon is struck out and tapped back to the mound. He's 0 for 2. He was knocked in the cup for the ball in the first game of the series. Sent some rippers. Now the 1-0 delivery by Art Hardiman. He deals off the stretch, throws the fastball, and Westrum slams it in the left field. Base hit. In comes Thompson to score. Williams goes to second to hold on. Westrum singles in the left. Drops a hit ground ball through the hole between short and third. Williams now the base runner at second base. Thompson for the 5th Giant run. That is hit number 2 and run number 1 off Hardiman. Now a 5-0 in favor of the Giants. They come up for a 7th base hit. The batter coming up to the plate now is Ruben Gomez. He lined the center field the leg of the second inning. Came up again in the third and struck out. So Gomez comes up now looking for him. First base hit. Here is Art Hardiman ready first. And we have activity down the bullpen now. Cleveland Indians. Taking just a second for him. Art Hardiman gets ready. Delivers to Gomez and sends full bounding ball foul down the third base line. Ray Narleski, rookie right-hander, down the bullpen for Cleveland. Art Hardiman on the mound. Ready to pitch now to Gomez. Williams at second. Weston's on at first. This game, there were 8 runs batted in for the Giants. Had 5 runs batted in here today. 12 all told. Gomez can bat in another one if Williams is on a scoring position. Hardiman settles into work and fast fastball. It's outside, pulled it high for ball 1. Gomez counts 1 ball, 1 strike. To the top of the stretch, looks at Gomez, delivers to him an overhand fastball and pours it right through at the knee. That's strike 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Williams ready to step out second. Pitch is made to Gomez, swung on. There's a bounding ball hit down the first base line just foul as it hugs the line. Went to the first base bag and kicked out before the bag. That was what is known as a snake hopper. We're going all over the place. Davy Williams, who's running on that one, has to move all the way back to second. Back in the second inning, Williams was out there second. He almost did throw a root. On the top of the 5th inning, down. 1 run has been scored. 5-0 in favor of the Giants. The runners up 52nd, 2 down. Gomez up and strike a blow on his own behalf. Number 28 waits for the pitch to be made by Art Hardiman. 1 and 2. And it rides an overhand fastball. Strike 3. So that's all for Gomez. Twice now he has struck out. Twice he's ended the inning by strikeout. And that's the first one here for Hardiman, the 4th. The Giants have run into this afternoon. So for New York in the 5th inning, 1 run on 2 base hits. There were no errors, and 2 men were left on. 7 7 men have been stranded here now by the Giants, going about a total of 5 times. And the at the end of 4 1/2 innings, the New York Giants 5 and the Cleveland Indians nothing. All at one shot. The book is 3, but you'd better hurry. It was a sellout last year, and the new enlarged edition is going even faster. We're now ready to step into the last half of the 5th inning and the completion of the ball game. And that means that our good friend Jimmy Dudley takes over right here in his own stomping ground. So, Jimmy, we're ready to listen to you, fella.
Thank you, Al. And here we go into the last half of the 5th inning. Dave Tilley, the Indians right fielder, leading off for the Tribe against Ruben Gomez, who has been one whale of a pitcher thus far. The first pitch is a strike with a fastball hitting the outside corner knee high. Tilley, the first time up in the 2nd inning, drew a base on ball. The only hit given up by Gomez was a pop-fly single by Doby. Next pitch is swung on a ground ball. Is past Davey Williams. Bender right center for a base hit. Tilley coming through with the Indians' second hit of the day. Is on first with nobody out, and the batter is number 2, George Strickland. Gomez has been a very solid pitcher. Just the second hit he has given up. He has struck out only one man, walked 2, but has been in command of the situation throughout the entire game up to this point. Strickland, the right-hand batter, steps in. Swings on the first pitch and hits the fly ball into left field. Dusty Rhodes moves in under this one now. He has it easily for out number 1. Strickland flied to Dusty Rhodes in left field. 1 out. Runner on first, and the batter is Jim Hegan, the Indian catcher. Ray Narleski again starts to work down in the Indian bullpen. There is a possibility that Hardeman may be listed for a pinch hitter. The middle inning of the ball game, and Al Lopez would like to get something started with the Giants off to a solid 5-0 lead. Tilley takes the lead. First pitch to Hegan is a strike call with a curve, getting the outside corner. Gomez is not only fast, he's been very quick with all of his pitches. The curveball, the screwball, and the fastball. He won 17 ball games during the regular season, losing 9. Next pitch, Hegan swings and misses a bad pitch. Good stop by the catcher, Wes Weston. 0-2 the count on the batter. The outfield around toward left. Hegan his first time up in the 2nd inning, grounded out to the 3rd baseman, Hank Johnson. The boy who incidentally has played a lot of fine ball in this series thus far. Next pitch, Hegan swings and hits the fly ball out into left field. Rhodes moving in fast onto the track now, close to the foul line. He makes the catch just in fair territory. And there are 2 outs. Hegan flied to Rhodes in left. And the pitcher, Art Hardeman, is due. And we'll catch somebody coming out of there in just a moment. It's going to be Rudy Rigolato, number 8. Rudy Rigolato, utility infielder, coming in to bat for Hardeman. Rigolato is a right-hand batter. Boy who played 1 year of organized baseball before moving up to the Playing Club. Looked exceptionally good in spring training and was given an opportunity to play third base when Al Rosen moved over to play first base for the Indians. Now stepping into the batter's box with 2 out and the runner on first. Tilley led off with a single, but is still at first. Outfield playing straight away. Gomez pitches a strike, a curveball, knee high. That curve has worked to perfection for him this afternoon. We have noted many of the Indian batters looking back at the umpire in great surprise on the call of the pitch, which was in there, just about knee high. The next pitch, Rigolato fouls it into the dirt for strike 2. Going to the count. The Giants, after winning the first 2 games in New York, moving out in front of this one 5-0 here at Cleveland's huge municipal stadium before approximately 70,000 people this afternoon. Strike to the count. Batter on deck is Al Smith. Billy ready to travel. Leads off. The pitch is swung on a ground ball. Slowly hit to the left out of the infield. Thompson charges it up with it. The photo first and Regalado is out. Another fine play by Hank Thompson at third base on a slow roller down the third base line. But he got his man. And for the Indians in the fifth, no runs, one hit, one man left. At the end of 5, the score is New York 5, Hagan nothing. Early win of the Indians, who lost a real heartbreaker yesterday, giving up only 4 hits. Says that when you're all in, there's nothing more breaking than a quick, slick Gillette shave. It really makes you look good and feel good. And early's the boy to know. You do look better and feel better, too. Try a refreshing, saving cream shave with today's one-piece Gillette razor. Going into the first half of the 6th inning, we have a new pitcher coming on for the Indians. Ray Narleski, young right-hander. While we're waiting for him, we pause now 10 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, the radio network for all America. Now back at Municipal Stadium. Here in Cleveland, the Giants leading 5-0. The first half of the 6th inning. The new pitcher, Ray Narleski. Relieving Art Hardeman, who worked 2 innings of the ball game, gave up 2 hits, walked 1, struck out 1, and allowed 1 run. 4 of the Giant runs are charged to Mike Garcia. Narleski is a member of Al Lopez's pitching staff in the relief department. He is one of the twin firemen, along with Ray Narleski, is Don Mossy. And those 2 boys have done a whale of a job this year. Narleski's record is 3-3, but he started only 2 ball games. Throughout the regular season, he worked in 42 games and posted an earned run average of 2.22. First man to face him will be Whitey Lockman. Hardeman came in the 4th inning, faced the top of the batting order. And now Ray Narleski, the third Indian pitcher. The Giants lead 5-0. The first pitch to Lockman is ball 1 too high. Narleski is what the boys refer to as a hard nose. A lad who comes in there in relief, just rears back and really fires. Next pitch is too high, another fastball taking off. High and outside this time. The count is ball to no strikes. Last year, he played under Bertie Tebbetts, then manager of the Indianapolis Indians in the American Association. Moved up with the parent club this year. The 2-0 pitch is a strike. Right over, about knee-high. The count is 2-1. Hank Majeska, the Indian third baseman in today's ball game, and on the edge of the infield grass. The outfield straight away. The 2-1 pitch is high for ball 3. 3-1 the count. Lockman led off with a single in the first inning. The Giants went on to score a run. Added 3 in the third and 1 in the 5th to lead 5-0. Here's the windup in the 3-1 pitch. A foul hit back into the stands, off to the right of the plate, out of play, and the count is ball 3, strike 2. It's a very happy, hot baseball bouncing around. It dropped from the upper deck and down below. Now the 3-2 pitch is ball 4, outside. Lockman takes the base on balls. Lockman on first with a base on balls. Here's the first man to face each of the 3 Indian hurlers. Here's Alvin Dock. He bunts the first pitch down the first baseline. Word comes in. Up with it. Can't make a play at second. Throws to Avila covering first. And Dock is out on the sacrifice. Play going 3-4. First baseman and second baseman covering. Lockman moves to second. With 1 out, now in scoring position. Alvin Dock, captain of the New York Giants, one of the key players on this ball club. This is his 15th World Series game. Next man up is Don Muley. He swings on the first pitch and pops it up to the left side of the infield. Hank Majeski is under, and he has it for the second out. There are two gone. And coming up is Willie Mays, number 24. The Giants center fielder, batting champion of the National League throughout the regular season. Neither batting champion has been able to do very much in this World Series up to date. 2 out with a runner on second. Now that's his first pitch. Mays swings, and there's a fly ball going out into right field. It's going to drop in there for a base hit. And Lockman racing around third is coming on to score. The throw in is cut out by Wirtz, holding Mays at first base. So Mays comes through with his second hit today. And the Giants take a lead of 6-0. The next batter is Hank Thompson. He has a perfect day. 2 walks and a double. And give him a lot of credit for legging out that base hit for a double his last time up in the 5th inning. Left-hand batter swings on the first pitch and pops it up. Down the third base line, Hank Majeski moves over into foul territory. Now stride the line and makes it in fair territory. Thompson pops to Hank Majeski. In the 6th inning for the Giants, score 1 run on 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 man left. And we're going to the last half of the 6th inning with a score. New York Giants 6, the Cleveland Indians nothing. Fans, whether you know your baseball inside and out, or just a casual fan, you'll get a real kick out of the new Gillette World Series record book. Small enough to fit in your pocket, big enough to answer thousands of questions, this handy reference book will get you more fun out of baseball. It has the score of every World Series game, winning pitches, all-time record of every player, diagrams, dimensions, and shooting arrangements of every part, this year's player rosters, basic rules, scoring instructions, just about everything. To get a copy free, ask for that Gillette Super Speed Razor set we told you about. $1 takes home razor, blue blade dispenser, travel case, book, and all. But don't delay, the supply is getting low. And now going into the last half of the 6th inning, it will be Al Smith leading off. Ruben Gomez has completed his warm-up throws and is all ready to work on Al Smith. Up twice, he walked in the 1st inning, flying back to the pitcher in the 3rd. Swings on the first pitch. It's a bounding ball to the shortstop. Big hop taken by Dark. They throw to first, and Smith is out. 1 pitch, 1 man out. 6-3 in case you're scoring along with us. To give you some idea of how effective Gomez has been, prior to this inning, the last 3 innings, he has thrown just 33 pitches. Not wasting. The batter is Bobby Avila. 0 for 1 officially sacrificed in the 1st inning. The Giants lead 6-0. Gomez pitches ball one outside, a curveball breaking away from him. The outfielder's playing him straight away. Bobby Avila, Indian second baseman, batting champion of the American League. There is ball 2, high and outside, 2 and no count. Gomez has given up just 2 hits. A bargain basement single for Larry Doby. In the 4th inning, a single on the ground into right center by Dave Philly to open the 5th inning. Next pitch is a strike, hitting the inside corner. And that has been Gomez throughout this ball game up to this point, putting that ball just where he wants to. Ball 2, strike 1. Into the windup. He pitches, and Gomez now has the count of ball 2 and strike 2. Avila swung on that ball. I believe he foul tipped it out of the catcher's glove. It dropped to the ground. 2-2. Umpire Conlon picked up the ball. Johnny Cuccinello coaching at third base. Shouting encouragement down to the batter. Red Crest, the coacher at first. 1 out and nobody on in the last half of the 6th inning. Avila steps out. Now, in position, the 2-2 pitch is swung on, and there's a fly ball hit into left field. But Dusty Rhodes moving back is under it and has it all the way for out number 2. 2 gone as Avila fired to left fielder, Dusty Rhodes, who has certainly been one of the outstanding performers in this World Series. It just seems to work like magic for Leo DeRocha, the Giant manager. Larry Doby steps into the batter's box. He has 1 out of 2. Left-hand batter, he takes a strike with a fastball, blazed through the middle. Strike 1 called. Skies are very much overcast. Well, gray day here at Cleveland. The next pitch is ball 1 high and outside. The count is even up. 1-1. Two out and nobody on. They're playing Doby to pull. Deep and well around to right. The 1-1 pitch is a changeup, ball 2. It was over but high, ball 2 and strike 1. Gomez takes his sign from catcher Westrom. He rocks into the windup. The pitch and Doby swings. It's a pop fly into left center. Over into this one is Willie Mays, and he makes the catch. Mays backs off from a ball. Makes you believe he's having trouble, but he just wants to give it that basket treatment. He holds the glove right down around the belt. For most of those catches. Doby flies to Mays in center. 3 up and 3 down for the Indians. No runs, no hits. Nothing across, and at the end of 6, the score is New York 6, Cleveland nothing. You know, when Dusty Rhodes blasted that long homer yesterday at the Polo Grounds in New York, I thought about the chapter called Hints on Winning Baseball in the new Gillette World Series record book. Among other things, it illustrates the golf-like swing that's best for connecting with those long, low ones. This is just one of the many things that makes this book so valuable to have handy anytime baseball is played or discussed. Now the 6-inning totals. The Giants have 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors. The Indians, no runs, 2 hits, and 2 errors. The Indians have left 3 men on the bases. The Giants have left a total of 8. It'll be Dusty Rhodes leading off in the first half of the 7th inning. Many of the fans here at the stadium have come up for the Giants half of the 7th inning, the old lucky 7th inning stretch. Number 26, Dusty Rhodes. Ray Narleski. Swing and a miss on the first pitch. Narleski working into the windup very hurriedly. Came out with a fastball. Boy, if Rhodes had hit that one, he'd have put it in Lake Erie. Strike 1. The next pitch, the swing and a miss. The strike 2. Umpire Al Barlick at second base now moves over to the first base side of the Keystone. Here's the windup. The 0-2 pitch, the swing and a miss. He struck him out. So a rookie by the name of Ray Narleski stops the mighty Dusty Rhodes. He struck him out. The fans here get a tremendous kick out of it. Davey Williams is up. He swings on the first pitch and misses. Strike 1. Rhodes, of course, has been the sensation of this World Series thus far. Next pitch by Narleski to Williams is ball 1 outside and low with a curve. Count is even up, 1-1. 1 out in the first half of the 7th inning. The Giants lead 6-0. Narleski pitches, ball 2. Over but low, the count is 2-1. He doesn't waste any time. Takes a short wind-up and gets pumped. He had 52 strikeouts in 89 innings during the regular season. Next pitch, Williams swings but misses. Strike 2. Ball 2 and strike to the count. 1 out and nobody on. Now let's get the third Indian pitcher. The 2-2 pitch. Ball 3, over but high, and the swing is out. Full count of 3-2. Now, Lefty came on in the 6th inning. Walked one man and gave up a hit. A single for Willie Mays. Next pitch. Williams swings at the ground ball to Strickland. It's short. Up with it. Here's the sort of first, and Williams is out. Rounding out. Short to first. There are 2 gone, and the batter is Wes Westrom. Westrom has 1 out of 3. A single his last time up to driving a run. In the 2nd inning, he struck out. In the 3rd, he grounded out as he attempted to pull away from a pitch. He hit a little grounder right back to the pitcher, Mike Garcia. Now, that's his first pitch to him is a strike with a curve, working to the outside corner, waste time. The Giants lead 6-0. The 3rd game of the 1954 World Series. Outfielders are straight away for Westrom. Now let's see, okays the sign. The pitch is high. That fastball popping out of Hegan's glove, rolling off to the left of the plate. Ball 1 and strike 1. Now that's his dad. Played for the Boston Red Sox quite some years ago. He's an infielder. Here's the windup. The 1-1 pitch. Westrom swings and misses. It's strike 2. 1-2 the count on the batter. 2 out and nobody on the first half of the 7th. The 1-2 pitch. Westrom swings and misses. He struck him out. A fine performance by the rookie right-hander. In the 7th for the Giants, no runs, no hits, nothing across. And the fans now come up for the last half of the 7th inning, the old home stretch. At the end of 6.5 innings, the score is New York 6, Cleveland nothing. Hey, you should have been with us on the baseball special last night. Both teams were aboard, and you never saw a finer-looking bunch of young men. They're sharp, they're alert, and they have the money to buy the things they want. So when I tell you they shave with the Gillette razor, almost to a man, it ought to mean a lot to you. I know how they shave because I see them in the clubhouses. They want to look clean, well-shaved. They want the refreshed feeling they get from a shower, shaving cream, and a fast, comfortable shave with a Gillette Blue Blade in the Gillette Super Speed Razor. Those are beautiful blades, precisely honed, smoothly cropped. Quality is so uniform that each of them shaves, you'll never know how easy until you try. Get them in handy dispensers with safety compartments for used blades. 20 for 98 cents, 10 for 49 cents. And now back here at Cleveland's Municipal Stadium, the home of the American League Indians. The attendance, 71,555. Last to the 7th, and Vic Wertz leads off. First pitch to him by Gomez is ball 1, inside and low. Ball 1 the count. Giants lead 6-0. There's ball 2, a fastball, and too close to the batter. Ball 2, no strike. The outfielder shaded around toward right. Wertz is 0 for 2. The next pitch. Strike call. Hitting the outside corner with a screwball. Ball 2, strike 1. Willie Mays moving around in center field. Now he's just about straight away. Next pitch is one. The base of drive going deep out into right center. Mays is chasing after that ball, and it is on its way for a home run. Indian first baseman coming up with hit number 3 and the Indians' first run of the day, a home run over the right center field fence. was a low line drive, not a towering homer. First of all, that was very solidly hit. And the next batter is Hank Majeski. Nobody out. Majeski, right-hand batter, steps in. He is 0 for 2. Hit into a double play his last time up. 71,555 fans getting a big kick out of seeing Wirtz come through with his home run. Al Newhouser, left-hander, starts warming up in the Indian bullpen. All right, the first pitch to Majeski. Ball went outside with a serve. Ball 1 the count. Batter on deck is Dave Philly. The Giants lead 6-1. The Indians thus avoiding the whitewash with that home run. Next pitch is ball 2, inside. Ball 2, no strike. The boys down in the Giant bullpen looking in towards the dugout. And so far, there's been no action in the Giant bullpen. Nobody out, nobody on. The pitch is a strike. Gomez laid a curve right over the heart of the plate. Ball 2 and strike 1.
Outfielders around toward left. Here's the windup. The 2-1 pitch is swung on a ground ball to the second baseman. Big hop taken by Williams. The throw to first, and Majeski is out. On the way. Grounding out. Second to first. 4-3. That brings up number 17, Dave Philly. In 2 trips to the plate, he has a walk and a single. His single was a ground ball into right center. Looks at ball 1 outside and low. First pitch. Ball 1 the count. Batter on deck is George Strickland. Gomez okays the sign. The pitch is a strike with a fastball knee high. Even up, ball 1 and strike 1. Wirtz's home run was hit number 3 off Gomez. The 1-1 pitch. Philly takes a strike with a changeup. Ball 1 and strike 2. Philly now steps back to talk to the umpire, Jocko Conlon. Ball 1 and strike 2. Philly asking umpire Conlon where that ball was, and he told him. Right over. The next pitch is ball 2, high and outside. The outfielders are shaded just a bit toward right for Philly. Here's the windup. The 2-2 pitch, a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Philly goes down swinging. That is the second strikeout for Ruben Gomez. He has walked only 2 batters. And now it's George Strickland stepping into the batter's box, coming up with 2 out and nobody on. Takes a fastball strike right in there. Last half of the 7th inning, the Giants lead by a score of 6-1. Next pitch, Strickland swings and pops this one up to the right side of the infield. Going back on the edge of the grass is Whitey Lockman, and he makes the catch. The 3rd out. And the Indians in the 7th get 1 run, 1 hit. Vic Wirtz's home run. And at the end of 7, the score is New York 6, Cleveland 1. Bobby Avila, who won the American League batting title with a .341 average, has gone 2 for 11 so far in this World Series of 1954. He has quite a jinx to overcome because batting champions generally do poorly in the series. To mention a few from the all-time series roster in the Gillette World Series record book, Ted Williams averages 200, Stan Musial 256, and Jackie Robinson 242. The World Series is the best 4 out of 7. The Giants won the first 2 games in New York and lead the Indians on their home grounds right here in Cleveland in this third game by a score of 6-1 as we head into the first half of the 8th inning. The Giants will lead off with pitcher Gomez. Getting a nice hand from the crowd as he comes up. He's turned in a fine performance. Right-hand batter. He lined to center field and struck out twice. Alaska's first pitch. He swings and misses. Strike 1. The next pitch to him. He swings on it and pops it up to the infield. Right by second base is George Strickland. He makes the catch for out number 1. Gomez popped to George Strickland, the shortstop. And now the top of the batting order. Whitey Lockman, left-hand batter, number 25. He has a single and a walk in 4 trips to the plate. Stands deep in the batter's box and chokes up on the bat. Swings on the first pitch. It's a ground ball to Wirtz at first. Wirtz takes it, races to the bag, ahead of the runner for out number 2. Lockman grounded out to Wirtz, unassisted. That brings up Alvin Dock. 2 out, and nobody on. First half of the 8th inning. Dock, a right-hand batter, has 1 out of 3 officially. He sacrificed his last trip to the plate. And he tries to hold back, but swings and hits an easy grounder right back to the pitch, and Oleski takes, throws to first, and the Giants are retired in order. 3 up and 3 down. No runs, no hits for the Giants. And going into the last half of the 8th inning, the score is New York 6, Cleveland 1. Say, have you ever noticed that guys who use Gillette razors are pretty good rooters for the kind of shaves they get? And that goes for the men who use Gillette 3-piece razors, too. Now, here's a very special how do you do to them. And a very special message, too. The Gillette 3-piece razor is a fine shaving instrument. No question about it. But we'd like to have you try our 1-piece Gillette Super Speed razor. It delivers the same smooth, refreshing shaves, but they're so much easier to come by. Blades change in an instant, nothing to take apart, and simply rinse under a faucet to clean. $1 will modernize your Gillette shaving equipment. Buy a Gillette Super Speed razor and Blue Blade dispenser in a travel case. Right now, you get the Gillette World Series record book attached free. A pretty big dollar's worth, if you ask us. Now, before we go into the last half of the 8th inning, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is Mutual, the radio network for all America. WGN, Chicago. And now back at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, the last half of the 8th, and a pinch hitter coming up for Jim Hegan, as Al Lopez calls upon his reserves to get something started for his tribe. Trailing in the series 2-0, and trailing in this ball game 6-1. Bill Glenn is batting for Hegan, left-hand batter. Swings on the first pitch, and it's a fly ball into right field. Coming over hard for it is Mueller. He drops the ball. It's going to Dewey. First under his cap. Mueller picks it up to throw in, but too late. And is in at second base. That is going to be a 2-base hit. A fine drive by Don Mueller. He got a glove on the ball, but it was a sinking line drive. He couldn't handle it. It dropped to the ground for a 2-base hit. Another pinch hitter coming out. Dale Mitchell, number 3. Batting for Ray Narleski. Mitchell is a left-hander. Hails from Oklahoma City. Product of Oklahoma University. Mitchell, during the regular season, batted .283, but was used mostly in the pinch hitter role. Hoyt Wilhelm, a right-hander, and Wendy McCall, a left-hander, start warming up for the New York Giants. First pitch to Mitchell. He swings and hits a ground ball to the first baseman. Lockman takes it, races to the bag. As Glenn moves to third, Mitchell is out. Mitchell grounding out on the first pitch. Lockman unassisted. Glenn is on third, and the top of the batting order is coming up. Don Mossy, a left-hander, is now warming up for the Indians. So is Hal Narragon, a catcher. Al Smith is the batter. He has a walk in 3 trips. First pitch to him is a strike. Curveball was good to the knees. Right over, strike 1. Glenn is on third with 1 out. Last half of the 8th inning, the Giants lead by a score of 6-1. Outfield pulled around toward left. Smith standing deep in the batter's box, well back of the plate. Takes ball 1 outside and low with a curve, breaking into the dirt. Bobby Avila's on deck. Here's the windup. Glenn makes a false start from third. The pitch is swung on, fouled down the third baseline, out of play. Ball 1 and strike 2. Gomez keeping the ball low to Smith. He fouled that one off his foot. Quite a bit of pain. He steps again back from the plate. Like this way. The Yellowjays protect his shin guard. Smith is always fouling the ball off onto his own foot, down to left hitting him in the leg. Here's the windup. The 1-2 pitch. Ball 2 outside. He started to go for it, but held back in time to take ball 2. On third with 1 out. Glenn doubled off Mueller's glove and right, moved up as Mitchell grounded out. The pitch is low into the dirt for ball 3. And the string is out. Full count of 3-2 on Al Smith. The Indians bouncing back against the fine pitching of Ruben Gomez, who has given up only 4 hits. Glenn is on third with 1 out. The count 3-2. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and fouled off. Down the first baseline, curving back into the crowd, out of play. Whitey Lockman raced over, but no chance to get it. New ball is tossed into play. Gomez is all set. Here's the windup. The 3-2 pitch. Hit foul down the third baseline, and Glenn had to jump out of the way of that ball. Dusty Rhodes racing over, taking no chances on whether it was foul or fair. Fielded that ball right where the boys are warming up. McCall and Wilhelm. Smith's the batter with a count 3-2. Glenn on third. The outfield around toward left. Time is called. Smith steps out of the batter's box. All right, the 3-2 pitch is swung. A ground ball to the shortstop. Doc is up with it. Glenn is coming on to score. The throw is high. And here goes Smith to second. He races around second. Hoffman is up with the ball. The throw across the diamond. Smith holds up and goes back to second. The score is now New York 6, Cleveland 2, and Smith is on second. That could well be a break for the Indians. We'll get the official call on it. It is a base hit and an error. A hit to deep shortstop. And an error. The batter is Bobby Avila. The score is 6-2. The run batted in for Al Smith. Glenn scored. Smith is now on second. The first pitch to Avila. Ball one high and inside. Smith goes to second on the throwing error by Alvin Dobb. That's the first giant error of the game and the third for both teams. The Indians have two. One out here in the last half of the eighth inning. Smith on second. Takes the lead. The next pitch. Avila takes ball two inside and low. The Giants now have a total of 4 errors for the 3 games of the 54 World Series. The Indians 2. Next pitch. Avila takes ball 3 high and inside. Ball 3, no strikes. Batter on deck is Larry Doby. The score is New York 6, Cleveland 2. The outfield playing straight away. Gomez okays the sign. The pitch is a strike. The outside corner, waist high. Three and 1 the count. Avila may not let this one go by. Naturally, he'd like to get on if possible. Doby coming up. There's ball 4, too high, and Avila takes a walk. Coming up is Larry Doby. And here comes Leo DeRocha out of the Giant dugout. We'll have a little conference out there on the mound. The Indians have runners on first and second with 1 out. You know, fans, this is only the 3rd World Series for Cleveland, yet its players have achieved the greatest single batting and fielding feats possible. In 1920, Elmer Smith slammed a homer with the bases loaded. Bill Womgans made a triple play unassisted. Now, this is the kind of valuable baseball information that's packed into the 112 pages of the Gillette World Series record book. Be sure to get yours. Now, umpire Jocko Conlon goes out, and it looks like a new pitcher is going to be called into the game. Fred Wilhelm. DeRocha making with the knuckler sign his right hand. And that is going to be all for Ruben Gomez. Wilhelm, a knuckleball pitcher, is coming into the game to face Larry Doby. So Gomez, running into a bit of trouble here in the last half of the 8th inning, has worked 7 1/3 innings. He has given up 5 hits. He has walked 3 men. He has struck out 2 and has allowed 2 runs and is leaving 2 men on. Should they score, they will be charged against him. And now we have a change in our scoring. We've just had word from the official scorers that Al Smith does not get a base hit. However, he does get a run batted in. It is a 2-base throwing error charged to Alvin Dobb. So Gomez has given up only 4 hits. You got that in your scoring? 7 1/3 innings. Given up 4 hits, walked 3, struck out 2. Gave up 2 runs and is leaving 2 men on. Wilhelm, wearing number 49, taking his warm-up throws. He is different from most knuckleball pitchers. And that he throws a fast knuckler. It's a knuckleball, but it's very fast. Still works the same and is just as hard, if not harder, to hit. Larry Doby, who was the hitting star of the 1948 World Series against the Boston Braves, now has a chance to come through for his ball club. All right, Wilhelm says he's ready to work. Doby steps in. Smith is on second. Bobby Avila is on first. Vic Wertz is on deck. The Indians trailing by 4 runs. Marv Grissom now joins Wendy McCall, the left-hander, warming up in the bullpen. Grissom is the right-hander that helped in the first game, actually won it. All right, Wilhelm is ready. Here's the stretch. The pitch to Doby. He swings and misses. Strike 1. Boy, and there was no question about what he wanted. He was swinging for the distance. Yes, Al, he was swinging for defense. The runners move off. The next pitch, swung on, a ground ball is hit to the first baseman. Lockman takes it, races to the bag ahead of Doby, and Doby is out in a close play. The runners move up. Doby tried a slide into first base, but Lockman beat him there. There are 2 out, and the batter is Vic Wertz. The Giants lead by a score of 6-2. Now time is called. Westrom goes out to talk with Wilhelm. Leo DeRocha proving that he can reach into the bag and come up with some fine relief pitching. Marv Grissom got credit for winning the first game of the World Series. Yesterday it was Johnny Antonelli all the way. First pitch to Wertz now. His ball went outside. They'll try to keep it away from his power. Batter on deck is a right-hand batter, Hank Majeski. Smith is on third. Avila on second. The Giants lead 6-2. There are 2 out. Here's the windup. The next pitch is a strike hitting the outside corner waist high. Ball 1 and strike 1. Wertz has certainly been the hitting star of the series for the Indians thus far, just as Rhodes has been for the Giants. Next pitch, fouled back to the screen. And now the pitcher has him in the hole. Ball 1 and strike 2. One and 2 count. Wilhelm didn't like the ball that he got there. Tossed it back into the catcher. And the little left-hander, the umpire back at the plate, Jocko Conlon, throws another out. Into the windup, the 1 and 2 pitch. Wertz swings and he misses. He struck him out. Wertz goes down swinging. And Mr. Wilhelm did a mighty fine job. A right-hand pitcher against 2 left-hand batters. The Indians in the 8th inning get just the 1 run on 1 hit. There was 1 giant error, and 2 men were left on the bases. At the end of 8 innings, the score is New York 6, Cleveland 2.
Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp and listen, mister. How are you fixed for play? Do you have plenty? How are you fixed for play? You better check. Please make sure you have enough. Cause a worn out blade makes shaving mighty tough. How are you fixed for play? Better look, Gillette toothpaste we need.
And our fans, we're back at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, going into the first half of the 9th inning of the 3rd World Series game between the New York Giants and the Cleveland Indians. The new Tribe pitcher is number 12, Don Mossy. Mossy is making his 2nd appearance in the World Series. Appeared in 40 ball games during the regular season. And young Hal Narragon is the Indian catcher. Number 18, Hal Narragon. He has just returned from the Marines this year and was carried by the ball club as that extra serviceman. He hails from Robertson, Ohio. He appeared in 45 ball games, posted a batting average of .238. And now in the first half of the ninth, it'll be Don Mueller leading off for the Giants, left-hand batter number 22 against left-hand pitcher Don Mossy. Mueller has 1 out of 4 and has scored 2 runs. Swings on the first pitch and wraps a line drive out over the third baseman's head into left field. A base hit. Smith is up with it. The throw to the infield holds it to a single. Mueller lined the first pitch into left. His hit into left field in the third inning was a beautiful thing to see. With a hit and run on, Dark was moving. Mueller hit one through the hole into left field. Now here's Willie Mays. Here's 2 out of 4. 2 singles, both into right field. He's a right-hand batter. Nobody out. First pitch is a strike, a fastball, letter high. Runner on first. Don Mueller leads away. Nobody out. The next pitch is high and outside with a curve that refused. Ball 1 and strike 1. Mays today coming up with his first World Series hits. Has 2 of them now. The Giants have a total of 9, as against 4 for the Indians. 1-1 the count. Here's the stretch. The pitch is swung on and fouled back into the stands, out of play. Count moves to ball 1 and strike 2 on the batter. Willie Mays, number 24. On deck is Hank Thompson. All right, Mossy okays the sign from his young battery mate, Hal Narragon. Checks the runner. The 1-2 pitch is high. Ball 2. Ball 2 and strike 2. Mays has made his hits pay off today. 2 hits, 2 runs batted in. Mueller takes the lead off, ready to travel. The 2-2 pitch, and it is ball 3. A bit too high. Ball 3, strike 2. Mays almost went through with a swing, but held back just in time, did not break the wrist. Ball 3, strike 2, and now Mueller will be moving. The stretch and the payoff pitch is swung, and there's a line drive hit sharply into left center. Mueller makes the turn at second. He's going for third. He'll be in there standing up. Doby's throw is to second. Mays holding it first. 3 hits for Mays, and he has come through each time with men on base. And that's the kind of a hitter you like. The guy that can deliver when there are runners on the sacks. Giant runners on first and third, nobody out. The batter is Henry Thompson, third baseman. He has 2 walks and a double. Getting more action down in the Indian bullpen now as Bob Hooper starts to warm up. Right-hander. First pitch to Thompson. He hits a line drive to Strickland. Strickland's throw back to first, and Mays is doubled. Mays was halfway to second and had not the slightest chance of getting back. And with 1 pitch, Mossy erases 2 men. Mueller is holding at third. That's the first double play for the Indians, and just the second of the World Series. Thompson lined to Strickland, who doubled Mays at first. Here's Dusty Rhodes up. 2 out, runner on third. Mays was struck out by Noleski in the 7th inning. First pitch to him. He swings, and it's a ground ball foul down the first baseline. Out of play, and the count is strike one. 7 runs batted in this World Series, and this is just the third game. The Giants are leading by a score of 6-2, and unless the Indians can pull their forces together, it looks like an abbreviated one. Next pitch is ball one high and inside. 1-1 the count. Neither manager has named a starting pitcher for tomorrow's fourth game. Here's the windup. The pitch is too low for ball two. 2-1 the count. Mueller on third. He led off with a single. Moved to third on Mays' hit into left center. Thompson lined into a double play. The outfield playing straight away. The next pitch to Rhodes is ball three, inside and low. 3-1 the count. Ball three, strike one. Rhodes came on in the third inning as a pinch hitter for Monty Irvin. Singled into right field. Driving in 2 runs. 3-1 the count. He may be gunning for it. Here's the windup. And the pitch is a strike call. Little high. Full count of 3-2 on the batter. Fans start buzzing a little bit as Marcy gets ready for the big pitch. The count 3-2. With 2 out in the first half of the 9th inning, the Giants lead by a score of 6-2. Marcy in action. The 3-2 pitch, a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Gave him a high curveball, and Rhodes went for it. Struck him out. Second time. And 2 rookies turned the trick. So in the 8th inning for the Giants, no runs. They had 2 hits. 1 man left. And going into the last half of the 9th inning, the score is New York 6, Cleveland 2.
You know, fans, unless you're an expert, you may have points of today's game. So stay tuned after the last out and hear old man baseball himself, Bill Corum, when he reviews the game and points up the day's play as only he can. Well, it's the last half of the 9th inning. And the Indians have just 3 outs to get back into this game and to get into the World Series. They have yet to post a victory. The Giants holding the lead 2 games to none and leading this game by 4 runs, 6-2. Giants have selected 10 hits off Indian pitching. 5 of them coming off Starter Garcia, 2 off Art Hardeman, who relieved in the 4th. Naleski gave up 1 hit, and Marcy gave up 2. However, the Giants failed to score against Marcy in the 1 inning that he worked. Hank Majeski will lead off for the Indians. The bottom half of the batting order is up. Hoyt Wilhelm, the knuckleball hurler. Pitches a strike. First pitch was right in there, waist high. Majeski is looking for his first hit today. He is 0 for 3. Grounded out twice and fouled out. Wilhelm pitches a strike to the inside corner, and there's that knuckler. Boy, that's a tough one. Indian batters have really been silent. Ruben Gomez giving up only 4 hits. Wilhelm coming on in the 8th inning to put out the fire. Getting Doby and Wirtz, 2 left-hand batters. There's ball 1 inside and low to Majeski. The count moves to ball 1 and strike 2. The outfield around toward left. Wilhelm checks his sign with catcher Weston. The 1-2 pitch. Ball 2 outside and low with a curveball. Ball 2 and strike 2. 71,555 fans in today's ball game, bringing the total to 183,405 for the 3 games of the 1954 series. All right, the 2-2 pitch. Majeski takes strike 3 to the inside corner. He struck him out. One away. Well, the Indians have used 4 pitchers today. They could sure use a pair like Busy and Paul Dean, right? Remember, they pitched and won all 4 games of the 34 World Series for the St. Louis Cardinals. Information like this gives you more baseball pleasure. And the Gillette World Series record book is filled with it. 1 out. Dave Philly is up. Swings on the first pitch. It's a ground ball to the second baseman. Knocked down by Williams. They throw to first, and Philly is out in a close play. There's that hustle in that giant infield, and it'll pay off every time. Jimmy Dykes used to say, stop him with your chest, your knee, your elbow, or anything, but go and get him and throw that batter out. Philly grounding out, second to first, 4-3. There are 2 gone. And we're getting a pinch hitter. Dave Pope batting for George Strickland. Two up and 2 down for the Indians here in the 9th. The Giants lead by a score of 6-2. Pope is a left-hand batter. First pitch, he swings on it. The ground ball to the right side of the infield. Williams covers over fast up at the throw to first. And on a pretty play, Pope is out. Pope grounding out. Williams to first. And the Indians bite the dust. 1, 2, 3. No runs. No hits. Nothing across. And the final score. New York, 6 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. Cleveland, 2 runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors. The winning pitcher, Ruben Gomez. The losing pitcher, Mike Garcia. Now in just a moment, Bill Corum will review the highlights of today's game for you.
Ladies and men, a home permanent that's really trouble-free. It's new self-timing Tony with 15-minute waiting motion. With this new Tony, you're sure of perfect timing every time. There's no clock checking, no test curls, no guesswork. Your self-timing Tony is timed to right. Your waves can't go wrong. Takes only minutes to wave and neutralize, gives you months of more carefree waves. It's the one permanent that's fast and lasts. And your wave will be soft and natural right from the very first day. So no matter how happy you were with your last permanent, no matter what kind it was or what you paid for it, you'll like this new self-timing Tony so much better. It's the easiest, fastest, surest way to the most natural wave of your life. Get yours today.
It's a new Tony, a faster Tony. It's self-timing, 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 self-timing Tony.
Well, the flash stop the presses and lead all news, I guess, of this 3rd World Series game here in beautiful Municipal Stadium in Cleveland before this great crowd this afternoon was that the Indians finally got Dusty Rhodes out. In fact, they got him out twice. Ray Norleski standing, and then Don Morphy. That last time he was at bat in the 9th inning, the last out, the Giants. Before that happened, the Dusty one had driven in 2 more runs to bring his total up to that point, up to 7, and the record for 4 games is only 9, held by Lou Gehrig. So he was still in there swinging when he went up to pinch hit, and in the season, and in this series, as a pinch hitter, he's gone 18 for 48, and that is some pinch hitting. And Ruben, I've been thinking that Gomez was quite a pitcher out there this afternoon. I don't know for sure that when the Indians put on their little stir there in the 8th inning, DeRocher would have had to take him out. But, of course, he's got such a tremendous bullpen, and that one fellow particularly with the where-to-go ball that finished up, nobody hits him when he's like this much. Tony Cuccinelli was over in Brooklyn sitting with Tom Sheehan, scouting the Giants, one of those games over in Brooklyn, and Hoyt came in, Wilhelm, and Fresco Thompson, some of them sitting there, and they were watching this ball. If you ever notice it and see Western try to catch it, you have to jump at it. That knuckleball just goes everywhere and anywhere. So Thompson said to Cuccinelli, said, Tony, maybe you better not knock their starting pitcher out. And that's the way Wilhelm finished up here this afternoon for Gomez. It was a laughing game for the Giants, you might say. And right now it would look very much as if they have the Indians well on the run, even here in their home fatigue, their own wigwam. They didn't look very good. Their pitching wasn't too strong. Mike Garcia, the big bear, just didn't have it this afternoon. And after Rhodes came in his daily act, replacing Irving at the bat and made his big pinch hit, driving in the 2 runs, well, that was pretty much the ball game. Of course, Vic Wertz finally found out how to get a ball over Willie Mays' head. He hit it over the fence for a tremendous home run. The ball was really tattooed, and that's one way the Indians can keep from leaving men on bases. As things stand now, they've left more men on bases in this series than some armies have soldiers. They have loaded them up and 2 on and 1 on right through the series, but it seems almost impossible for them to get the big hit when they need it. And they needed it badly this afternoon because the Giants had their hitting clothes on right down the line. They were whacking that ball solidly. Little Willie Mays came up with 3 rousing hits, good clean hits, and Dark and all the gang, Mueller, the whole bunch, were hitting that ball very well. Whitey Lockman and Wes Westrom driving in the run. And it was a team victory for the Giants with a very fine pitching job by Gomez. And, of course, now tomorrow DeRocher can do pretty near anything. He's got some other pretty good pitchers in there, and he could use them 2 or 3 at a time or anything he wants to. Now, I don't know when an American League team, a National League team ever won 4 straight from an American League team in the World Series. I would have to go clear back to 1914, the Athletics and Braves, so it probably has happened since, but it's been a long time. Now, this broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Commissioner of Baseball solely for the entertainment of our listening audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express consent of the Commissioner is prohibited. Before signing off, I want to thank our engineers, Jim Egan and Al Rasnick, our statistician, Frank Zazzulo, and this program was directed and produced under the supervision of Mutual Sports Director Paul Jonas. Now, don't forget, tomorrow we bring you the 4th game of the 1954 World Series from this same Municipal Stadium in Cleveland. Make a note that we'll be on the air at 12:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the same as today. Until then, folks, smooth shaving, and good afternoon from your host, the Gillette Safety Razor Company, and yours, in sports, Bill Cole.